one, love is not about feelings, but love is a what? Commitment. Everyone say commitment.
Commitment.
Second, wrong means about love. Ready? You complete me. Huh? You complete me. Duh. I don't know if you know how to compute. Marunong ka ba mag-compute? One incomplete person plus another incomplete person, put them together, two incomplete persons. One unhappy person plus another unhappy person, put them together, two unhappy persons. It should be one complete person plus another complete person, put them together, two complete persons. One happy person, two happy persons. Would you agree?
Amen.
Yan ay parang, you complete me. Ang point lang ito eh. Tell your kids, may mga single ba dito? May mga single na naliligaw? May mga single. Umamit kayo. Single ba kayo? Engaged? Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Mabuti naman. Baka after this, ayaw mo na. No, seriously. If you're not happy with your single life now, you will never be happy with your married life tomorrow.
Amen.
If you're not happy with your relationship with God right now, you will never be happy because you must be complete in Christ. Tama mo eh. Dapat happy ka na, fulfilled ka na sa relationship mo kay Lord. Tapos may makikita ka pa, wow, man. Diba? That's the life. Never ever draw strength from one another. Even if you're married, no offense to me. Even if you're married, you love one another. I always tell people, it's more important for you to love God rather than your spouse. Your love for God must be stronger than your love for spouse.
Amen.
Why? Later I will tell you that. That's my ending. Okay, number 3, myths about marriage. I don't know if you've heard this already. Men are unfaithful. Pare-pareho na ba yan? Di ba yung parang we tend to believe na everyone who works for the government are corrupt. Di ba yun yung mindset natin? Hindi, kakainin din ang sistema yun. Tama mali? Hindi tama. Dahil naniniwala ako, hindi lahat na nasa gobyerno corrupt. Hindi lahat ng pulis ay kakabali yung ginagawa.
Amen.
Tama mali?
Amen.
Ganun din, hindi ko lahat ng lalaki nangangaliwa.
Amen.
Kanan lang, kanan. Parang kaliwa ka. Pareho din yun. No, I'm sure, man, I've known people who stayed loyal and faithful with God. Talaga ba? Yes. Kasi we tend to generalize it. Why we tend to generalize it? Because we know that's our witness. And then minsan, ano ginagawa? Naghahanap tayo ng kakampi. Hindi, pareho rin naman kami. No. Hindi lahat ang pareho. Kaya nga minsan nga, tinatanong ko, sino sa inyo dito ang may utang? Ano sagot ng mga iba? Lahat. Ha? Paano mo nalaman na lahat? Kala mo may utang din siya? Naghahanap ng kakampi. Would you agree? Yes or no? You know what? Not all men are what? Unfaithful. Because I've known some men who are still what? Very faithful. And talking about faithfulness, again, what you believe in life becomes the truth. Agree? Your philosophy is equivalent to your way of what? Living. Ito lang po as I share this to you, I don't want to arrive in the sense na parang hindi ako nagkakamali. No. All of us, we have sinned. Diba? Let the man who had no sin cast the first stone. I'm a sinner, diba? But redeemed by the blood of Christ. I can still remember when I was still single during that time. I had no girlfriend during that time. And I bring you greetings from my local church at Victory in Manila. And when my friend got married, and when he got married, and then I went to the ceremony, and then the pastor said, "You may now kiss the bride." Diba? Then after that, kasi parang sa akin, I was a new Christian during that time. Sabi ko, I always see that at the wedding. But during the time when they were already sharing, silang dalawa na, And my friend, the husband said, the very first time that I've ever kissed my wife is when the pastor said, "You may now kiss the bride." Parang sinabi ko sir, "Wedding nga." Kasi di ba, I tend to generalize na, ay hindi, may nangyari niya. But truly enough, I know this man's reputation. And then you know what? I had that mental image and I told myself, I want that also to happen to me when I get married. I want also to have the opportunity to testify that God is really good in my life. That the very first time that I've ever kissed my wife is when, the pastor said, "You may now kiss the bride." And by October 23, that was 1992 when I witnessed that day. I got married on October 23, 1999 for 7 years. 7 years. 7 years I stayed holy and pure in the eyes of God. We got engaged in 1998. On October 23 of 1999, when our pastor said, "You may now kiss the bride," that was the first time that I've ever kissed my wife. And I promise you, it wasn't the last. Hindi ako ganun conservative. But you know what? Nananigets nyo ba? And for us, you cannot say na, hindi faithful yan. There are still men who are faithful. Because I do believe in a relationship, the foundation of relationship is the word called what? Come on, read. The word called what?
Trust.
If there's no trust, there's no relationship. How long you're in business? You're in business. Okay. How long you are working? You're an employee. Okay. Would the boss hire you if they cannot trust you? No. Would you be in business with someone if you do not trust the person?
No.
Exactly. So be very, very mindful. A boss will not hire a person who is not trustworthy. A partner will not be in partner in business with a person that is not trustworthy, especially when it comes to a relationship. The most important commodity in a relationship is the word called what? Trust. If there's no trust, there's no what? Relationship. Sinabi nga ni Ninong ko si Francisco, sabi ni Ninong, "Chinky, mawala na lahat, huwag nang sira pangalan mo." Ask me why.
Why?
It took you years to build your name, but it only take a few seconds. It will only take a few seconds to destroy it. Likewise, let me encourage you, men and women, husband and wife. It takes years of relationship and building it. But it only takes a moment of mistake to destroy everything. And once the trust is broken, can you regain that? Yes, you can regain the trust, but it's going to be hard. There will be pain. Agree? And then one thing I've learned in a relationship, trust cannot be demanded. I'm your husband, you have to trust me. No. Trust is not demanded, but trust is what? Earned. Especially if there are promises that are broken. Kailangan po talagang pagtrabahuhan. Kasi minsan talaga yun nga nangyayari. Lalo na pag nagkaaway na, nagkakaroon galit na, mahirap mag-rebuild ng trust. Would you agree? Yes or no? And as I mentioned, the foundation of relationship is what? Trust. And not only that, but trust is also a what? Responsibility. Dapat po ingatan yung pangako. Kaya minsan tayong mga kalalakihan, minsan pag meron tayong pinangako, make sure tuparin natin yung pangako. Amen?
Amen.
Ito rin specifically with, how long you have kids? You have kids. I would want to encourage you also, once you make a promise to your children, you make sure you fulfill it. It may be a small thing for you, but it's not a small thing, but it's a big thing for them. This also is applicable to our spouses, to our spouse. What do I mean? I can still remember, just to share with you a story. Can you still remember Wonder Woman? Linda Carter. Buti naman umaamin kayo. And during that time, di ba walang mapanood sa TV eh. $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman. Yan, yun yung sumunod si Linda Carter. That was 2 months, 2 months na pinipreview yan sa Channel 9. So I can still recall, it was on a Friday evening at 7 o'clock. Parang premiere showing. So at 6:30, I was in front of the TV and I was all prepared. And then all of a sudden, my father came out of the room and told us to all dress up, we're going to eat out. And I told my dad, Pat, I cannot join you. I have a special appointment with Wonder Woman. My dad was trying to convince me, but I won't budge. I won't move. And then he thought of a great idea. I was around 7 years old during the time. He thought of a great idea. He told me this. Son, dress up. You're going to choose the restaurant, your best restaurant, your favorite restaurant. After that, when we come home, I will call Channel 9 and have the show replayed for you, just for you. Okay? I was 7 years old. I believe, because I was dumb. I was dumb. Tanga pa ako nung tanga. So I went out, ate out with them, 9 o'clock, we came back home, and I told my dad, Dad, tawag ka ng Channel 9 para play mo na. Sabi ng tatay ko, tulog ka na, niloloko lang kita. Alam niyo, grabe. You know how I felt during the time? My whole world collapsed. Hindi ko mapapanood si Wonder Woman. Nang dahil doon, naging adik ako, nagshabu ako, nagmariwana. Oo, dahil kay Wonder Woman. Hindi naman. Pero you know what was the impact? Hello? You know what was the impact? Ever since that day, whatever my father told me, I never believed. Kaya be very careful. Be very, very careful. When you promise something to your children, to your spouse, make sure you what? Fulfill it. If you don't fulfill it, it will leave ano. Because again, trust is what? It may be a small thing for you, but it's not a small thing for them. It's a big thing for them. Now, let me switch course. Let's talk about what marriage is what? Meron ba kayo naririnig dito? Marriage is just like a fairy tale. Yung quote na, and they live happily ever after. Wait till they... You didn't see the second part. When they move into the castle and live with the mother-in-law. Marriage is not a fairy tale. There will be ups and downs. There will be highs and lows. There will be what, di ba? Arguments. So never ever believe that. Number 2, marriage is not also a bed of what? Roses. Why? Before we can even touch the rose, we have to go through the thorns. Masasaktan ka muna. And talking about that, ito lang, pwede ba magpakatotoo? Pwede.
Amen.
Kung among you argues, do you argue with one another? Good. You're normal. If you don't, you're abnormal. It means you don't talk to one another. We argue. But when we argue, we also what? Argue to what? Agree. We don't argue to prove each other wrong. We argue, at the end of the day, we must agree because we're a team. Kasi may mga iba nag-argue ng yung parang ano ba? Parang, tama ako, mali ka. Anong point mo? Nag-aaway ba kayo dahil mag-aaway kayo o magkakampihan? Wala pa ko nakita, di ba, in a basketball team tapos nag-aaway kayo. Hindi, dapat ako tumira. Mali ka eh. Nako, sisihad lang. Wala bang... A house divided in its own will not stand. Agree? That's the reason why ang end goal namin, when we argue, we have different stand, we have different opinions, we have different... Pero ang goal namin, at the end of the day, we must what? Agree. May agreement. Lalabas tayo na magkakaisa tayo. Agree?
Amen.
Number 2, who among you as a couple, you fight? Normal. You don't fight, abnormal ulit. Wala kayong pakialaman. You know what? Unavoidably, there are moments talaga when you fight, when you argue, you will get hurt. Agree? Alam mo, expecting a hurt from an opponent, from an enemy, from a unreasonable person is expected. Pero getting a hurt from a loved one, it's more painful. Why? Because the people who are closest to us are the people who can hurt us most. Hashtag, who could? Manggaling na yun sa kaaway ko. Manggaling na yun sa mga negative na mga, okay lang tanggap ko, pero galing sa iyo. Ayun, sakit mo. We also fight. But when we fight what? Smart. Our goal is not to hurt one another. Alam mo, sometimes, parang minsan, di ba, yung mga argument din sa mga away mo. Yung sakitan na talaga, yung sarcastic. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ka ginawa ni Lord na pagkaganda-ganda, pero pagkatanga-tanga, sakit mo. Sumagot si Mrs. Ginawa ko ni Lord na maganda para ako pakasalan mo. Ginawa naman ako ni Lord na tanga para ikaw pakasalan ko. Yan na talaga. Barilan na eh, kung pwede. Again, were there moments in your life that you hurt one another? Yes or no?
Amen.
Yes, when we hurt one another, our goal? Reconciliation. I will see to it. Again, remember, it doesn't really matter how right I am. If ever I hurt my wife's feelings, I'm already what? Wrong. Ang goal talaga natin is to be what? Reconciled. Because God said, blessed are those who are what? Peacemakers. For they would inherit. Nagiging ba?
Amen.
Dapat yun ang goal natin, hindi yung ako na lang parang, lugi ako. Ako na lang parang sorry. Ikaw na nga mali. Ako. Ano, no offense with that. Kahit matagal na kayo, mas mature kayo sa akin. Pero pag punong-punong ka ng pride, may problema ka. The maturity of a person when it comes to marriage is not shown on age. It's shown on how you handle when there's conflict.
Amen.
I've seen some people 60 years old, immature pa rin. But I've seen some people 20 to 30 years old na may married, 30 plus years old na married, pero very mature. Kasi they know how to humble themselves. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Amen.
Kasi minsan, ito lang kung sasaktan natin, yung mga, hindi ko naman nila lahat yung mga kailangan, it's mali naman. Pero minsan, di ba, may ego tayo mga lalaki. Sino sa inyo mga lalaki dito? Hindi, to clarify, alam mo naman kayo, you got to be sure. Hindi, yung parang, pag nasaktan na yung ego, yung parang ano, sige, na-realize na mali siya. So, sorry yan. Sorry yan. Siyempre, tapos yung babae, masakit pa eh. Fresh pa eh. Tama? Bahala ka. Nagsasorry na nga, ayaw mo pa? Grabe ka talaga. Nagigits nyo ka. Can I make a request? Can I make a request, please? Ito lang husbands, if ever we hurt our wife's feelings, wala kang choice but to humble yourself.
Amen.
Alam mo, ginagawa ko kasi ito naman minsan masyado namang yung literally legalistic ba? Kakausapin ni Mrs. niya. Ayusin na natin to. Bakit? Kasi according to the Bible, do not let the sun go down. Mag-aalis daw sila, tapusin na natin to. Patawarin mo na ako. Kundi magkakasala ka, ikaw may kasalanan, di ako. Ano ba yan? Eh, paano kung nag-away ka ng 11:59? 1 minute, patatawarin kita? Don't take it literally. Ang ibig lang sabihin yan, ayusin mo, huwag mong patagalin. Yun po ang point. But in terms of asking for forgiveness, I don't know if you would agree with this. It should not be based on the terms of the person who offended. It must be based on the terms of the person who got offended. Nagigits siya ba? Nangyari, di ba? You went to war, 2 countries, tapos surrender ka, di ba? I'm sorry, susurrender ako. Pero hindi mo pwede sabihin sa susurrender mo, it should be on our terms. Ito yung mga terms namin, tanggapin nyo. Hindi. Kung ano yung terms na nanalo, siya yung dapat na tanggapin mo. And, alam mo, lahat ng babae pala tayo. Pag na-offend ka, kahit sabihin mo, kalimutan mo na, what the mind forget, the heart remembers. Di ba, sabihin mo, pwede mo kalimutan, makakalimutan ka, pero, naalala kita. So, in other words, I have to give time. So, alam mo yung way ko, I thank God for Viber. Alam mo yung Viber? Yung Viber, parang ano siya. So, ang ginagawa ko on how to, mahal tapos magpapasend ako ng emoticons. Diba yung sorry, yung mga emoticons gano'n. Tapos may sasend siyang back, mga dragon. Mainit pa, mainit. Ang ibig sabihin, hindi ko muna papansin, palalamigin ko muna. Nagigets nyo? I cannot take that attitude. Sorry na, ayaw mo ba? Ay, away na naman yun, lalong lala. So, hihintayin ko, okay ka na ba? Tapos yun, humihina na, di ba? From red, nagiging blue. Lalo na uso yung anong movie yun? Yung what's movie yung may anger, tapos Inside Out. Yun ang ginagamit ng emoticon sa akin. Oo. May sad face na yan, from anger, tapos nagiging lonely, nagiging sad. Oo. So, nagigets nyo ba? In other words, kailangan mag-ayos. Agree? Now, ito lang may kasabihan din eh. You will never know the real person until such time you bury the person. Kaya nga, sana nandito yung mga single people, ha? And then, even though walang mga single masyado dito, pero please lang, please tell your children who are already in the marrying age or about yung mga please lang ito, ha? I don't know if you believe this. Dating is a deception game. I will repeat. Dating. Alam mo dating? Yung date kayo, dalawa, di ba? Single people, para magkakilala. It's a deception game. Lokohan yan. Why? Sir, na-experience mo ng, na-experience mo ng mag-date, sir? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oo, of course. Paano may kinasal? Alam mo na ikaw di ba? Nung dinidate mo, naalala mo si Mrs. yung first time, hindi ba dinidate mo? Anong ginawa mo? Ano ka ba? Nag-base ka ba maayos?
Nagpapango.
Ano pa?
Basta nagpapogi.
Diba? Madam, ikaw naman. Nung dinate kayong dalawa, anong ginawa mo?
Nagpaganda.
Tama? Tama? Oo, best foot forward. Nung kayo na. Once a week na lang maligo. Hindi na nagpapabango. Mahala. Nakikits nyo. That's the reason why, guys. Alam mo, nothing beats pa rin if you get married to the person na yung talaga kaibigan mo.
Amen.
Yung friends pa talaga, yung makikita mo yung tunay na ugali, kung tumawa, lakas pala tumawa. Kita nga lang. Diba? Kasi pag dinedate mo yan, lalo na pag first date yan, sige, order ka na. Sagot sa'yo ng babae, hindi, busog pa ako. Uy, maganda na, tipid pa siya. Nung kayo na, lakas lumamot. Marating buffet, gusto pa Vikings, Nagigits nyo. Unlike, kunyari, in friendship kayo, you get to know the real person. Kung malakas pa siya kumain o hindi, you get to love the real person. And that's the reason why, I don't know, once you get married, there will be things that you would realize from your spouse. And alam mo, what destroys really a house, it's not the typhoon, it's the termites. Yung anay ba? Yung mga maliliit na bagay. Ito ba napapansin nyo sa, sa asawa nyo? Paano? Ilang taon tayo magkakasal, hindi mo ba naiintindihan? Ang pagpindot ng toothpaste, hindi gitna sa dulo! Ang hirap mong kausapin Ang mga tukador sinasara, hindi binubuksan, parati na nakakanto. Kung kukuha ka ng pagkain, may serving spoon! Nagigits mo. Nakakabaliw. Bad habits never die. That's the reason why. Alam niyo, this is what I realized in marriage. The more you try to change your spouse, the more you get frustrated.
Amen.
Why? Ask me why. Matigas talaga ulo eh. No. The principle behind this, you cannot change the person, but you can change yourself. Because only God can change a person. The more you remind them, the more ako maiinis yan. The more na lalo. And alam mo, confession time. I'm a person na talagang mahirap talaga ako. I have the habit of, after removing my clothes, di ba? Instead of putting it inside the basket or the hamper, I put it on the floor. I don't know, habit ko lang talaga. Talagang for so many years, talagang walang katigil. Yung lumalapit na yung misis ko, ano to? Sabi ko, damit. Yung parang, manhid ka talaga, manhid! Ito, hindi na sa sahig, dapat na sa basket, please lang. Yan talaga, ayan na naman, sabi ko, bahala ka. Suddenly, na-shock talaga ako. After so many years, bigla na lang, ginagawa ko pa rin, pero wala na ako naririnig. No. May problema ng misis ko. And then, honestly, she just then revealed it to me. Sinabi na, she kept on praying, Lord, ano gagawin ko sa husband ko? And you know what God revealed to her? God told her, alam mo, instead of you complaining that you're picking the clothes and the parang pants of your husband, you should be thankful. It means say that your husband is still alive. Buhay pa siya. Then talagang nag-change ba yung attitude niya? Habang pinupulot daw niya siya, ay, thank you Lord, buhay pa yung asawa. Magtaka ka na kung wala ka na mapulot kasi wala na siya. And because of that, nung nag-change siya, hindi na niya ako pinukulit. Naging conscious na ako. Oo. Hiniwalay ko na lang yung dresser niya. Dresser ko at saka dresser niya. Hindi niya nakikita na makalat. No, then, I started to put my... Nagigets siya ba? At the end of the day, yun na. Your goal is not to change your spouse. Your goal, the reason why your spouse probably have that bad attitude, because your spouse is there to change you. Yung parang, di ba may inis ka? Lord, please, give me patience. Lord, the reason why God gave you your spouse, so that you can have more patience. No, I'm serious.
Amen.
Nagigets nyo ba? And then please, marriage is not about attaining what? Perfection. Because you and your spouse can never be perfect. Lalo kung may mga bad habits. Lalo na, may kilala ba kayong mga tao incomplete ang sentence pag walang mura? Diba? Pag excited, nagmumura. Pag galit, nagmumura. Pag malungkot, nagmumura. Habang kumakain, nagmumura. Diba? Alam mo, hindi mo pwedeng baguhin yung asawa mo kung ganun talaga eh. But you know what? Ang prayer mo, hindi lang siya mabago overnight. Dapat dahan-dahan. Kung dati, beginning, middle, and ending may mura. Ngayon, pag ending na lang, praise the Lord! Nabawasan na! Hindi nagigets nyo ba? Kung dati, ito yung mga habits niya, di ba? Yung mga bad habits niya. Pero ngayon, nababawasan na, you shouldn't complain. Why? Marriage is never about perfection. But marriage is all about what? Your goal is what? Progression. Ang goal mo is to progress from glory to glory. It took him years. It took me years to develop that habit. It will also take me some time to unlearn that habit. Agree? Now, so far, yun po yung intro ko. Can we start already? Seriously, that's the intro. Allow me to start by sharing with you the top 3 reasons why marriages what? Or why marriage fail. Top 3 reasons. I'll do this fast and then after that we'll discuss this one by one. Number 1, main reason why marriages fail. Number 1 is because of lack of what? Communication. Number 2, lack of intimacy. We're all adults here so we can discuss this called SEX. Number 3 is because of lack of what? Money. Kulang sa pera. Isa-isayin natin. Let's talk about communication. Men and women are created by God differently. Agree? So, in terms of, men are more logical side and women are more on the emotional side. Men tend to think with his brain, women tend to think with their what? Feelings. So sometimes this is the problem. There's a disconnect. We tend to what? Think that our wife think the same way just like we think. And the wife naman, on the other hand, always think, wala ka talagang pakiramdam. Hindi mo naunawaan kung ano. Kasi nga, nag-iisip siya mag-utak, ikaw ginamit mo feelings. Just to prove to you that men and women are very different, let's watch this video. Let's watch this video. sure marami tayong napulot, di ba? Di ba? Nakarelate ba? Yes or no?
Amen.
No, especially yung sa CR thing, ha? Hindi ko talaga maunawaan yung CR. Oo, ibang-iba talaga, di ba? Yung mga, iba talaga yung lalaki at saka sa babae. Yung mga babae, but let me ask you this, please lang. Ba't ba nagsi-CR kayo grupo? Di ba ginagawa niyo sa loob ng CR? Di ba? Kami mga lalaki, pag nagsi-CR, kanya-kanya, walang yayaan. Wala po nakita. Pare, CR tayo. Ano? Gano'n natin. Weird, di ba? Weird. So that's the reason why you and I got to understand men and women are very different. How do men and women take what differently? According to statistics, average words that can be spoken by a woman on a daily basis around 20 to 25,000 words per day. 20 to 25,000. Men averages around 10,000 a day kasi yung capacity namin to think ay mas mababa. Oo. Mas mataas pong IQ ng mga babae kumpara sa mga lalaki. Inaamin po namin. Pero ito yung problema. Problem is, oftentimes the men goes out to work, so they go out, they talk to their bosses, talk to their clients, talk to their office mates. At the middle of the day, yung 10,000 words ay almost used up na. And then, syempre, si Mrs. sa bahay, walang kausap. Sino kausap? Yung anak, yaya, di ba? Yung aso, pusa, daga, at ibis. So, pag uwi, fresh na fresh pa si, Mrs. Oh, ito muna tanong, pag uwi ni Mr. Oh, ano nangyari? Okay lang. Buong araw ka, wala, okay lang? Pero nangyari sa opisina. In other words, you know what? Pwede makiusap mga women. Women, can I make a request in behalf of your husband? We are just like cell phone. Once we go out, pag sinacharge mo yung cellphone, there will come a point na ano nangyayari sa cellphone? Na-degrade, naglulubat. Tama o mali? Alam mo, pag pagod na kami, ang goal lang namin is magpa-recharge. So how does men recharge? Men likes to go to their what? Nothing box. Everybody say nothing box. When you say nothing box, di ba pag uwi, ano sa nangyari? Wala. Okay lang. Ano nangyari? Wala. Nothing. So what are the nothing box for your spouse? Probably for them some to read newspaper, some of them to eat, some of them to relax, some of them to play games, some of them to watch TV. Kung ano man yung that can remove their distraction from the place of work, that is what we call as nothing box. And I really thank God and praise God that my wife learned about this at a very young stage of our marriage. That she always allows me, once I go home, she allows me at least time for me to go into my nothing box. My nothing box is the computer. Why? Buhay ko talaga doon ang bubuhay because every day I write, I have to reply to emails, to my clients, customers. So she allows me to go into my nothing box. If man has what we call as a nothing box, on the other side of the coin, kung may nothing box, women naman on the other side has what we call as the everything box. When you talk about everything box, grabe ha. Alam mo, women, you are really so gifted. Please, tell me this. How in the world can you be gifted to talk about one topic? No? One topic ang pinag-uusapan nyo. Pagkatapos, ang dami ng topics na pwedeng ikabit. Please lang ipaliwanag nyo. Parang, nasashock na lang ako eh. Okay, example, one time. Birthday ng misis ko. We went to a mall called Rockwell Mall in Manila. Are you familiar with Rockwell? Sa may bandang Makati. And we went to a new restaurant. Talagang pila yung restaurant. Medyo late na kami. Lunch more or less gone to 1. 2 o'clock na may pila pa rin. So medyo gutom na. Alam nyo your husband turns to a monster pag nagugutom yan. Kahit anong mangyari, huwag niyong gugutomin yung mga asawa niyo. Nagbabago yung ugali. Nawawala ang pagkatao. So, 2 o'clock na, pumila na, birthday. Siyempre, paborito niya yun. So, pinili niya yung restaurant. Wala akong choice. So, nung umupo na, kasama niya yung mga kapatid niya. Anong ginawa? Imbis na order, kwentuhan pa sila. Oo, kamusta ka? Ano nangyari? Sabi, mahal, kanina pa kayo nagkukwento. Pwede ba umorder muna? Tapos, tumingin siya, pagkampingin niya. Sige, ikaw na lang bahala. mahal, birthday mo, ayaw kung masira ang birthday mo, please, umorder ka na. Yung gusto mo, yung paborito mo. Nung umorder na siya, tumingin sa akin, mahal, pingan 4,000. Ha? Hindi ba tayo mo-order? Magbabayad ka na. Hindi, magbabayad kasi ako bukas ng carpenter, please lang. Bukas pa yan. Gutom na ako! Nakakain pa. Naintindihan nyo? So, ano nangyari? Sige, tumayo! So, na-offend yata. Sabi ko, hindi, singar lang ako, singar. Ikaw na umorder, ikaw na umorder. Alam mo talaga sa sobrang frustration, umorder na ako. Pag-order ko, eh nalabas, 20 minutes, lumabas na. Lumabas na. Ito reaction. Saan yung paborito ko? Alam mo, nawalan ako ng gana. Mahal, please lang. First time natin dito, kaya di ko alam kung ano paborito mo. Alam mo, makakabaliw talaga. Hindi, nagigits nyo ba? At you have the ability really to talk about a lot of topics. Not only that. Question, mga women, yung mga wives dito. Does your husband get stressed? Yes or no? Yes. How do men handle stress? I'm sure you're familiar with this. Pag ang lalaki na-stress, ano ginagawa? Pag may problema, yung husband nyo, alam nyo eh. Ano ginagawa? Lumalayo. Tumatahimik. Oo, nag-hibernate. Ayaw may kausap. Malayo tingin. Wala naman tinatanaw. At kapansin-pansin ni Mrs. In other words, when are stressed, they don't want to talk about it. Agree? We keep quiet. Now, on the other hand, women, how do they handle stress? They talk about it. Nagigits nyo ha? So nagigits nyo yung parang, yung isa, pag na-stress, solitary. Yung babae, pag stress, grupo yan, di ba? Oh, sister, kamusta ka na? May problema. Oo, bago. Halika, group hug tayo. Ang mga lalaki, pag na-stress, kanya-kanya. Asumata pa, pag tinatanong mo pa nga eh. Pare, awal ito kayo ng misis. Kahapon, sinabi ng misis ko, nagkwentuhan yung misis. Sinabi, ano ba? Hindi, pare, ayusin namin yan. Pero ayusin na namin yan. Talaga? Walang pagmasa. Dito lang naman, sige pare, pag kailangan ako ng bahala, sabihin kita. Pero wala pa ako nakitang lalaki. Paano yung problema? Paano mo lang? Hindi ka group up. Bro. Nagigets nyo ba? It's two worlds apart. So ngayon, ito yung scenario. You've got to understand this. Men, they don't talk about it. Women love to what? Talk about it. Okay, ito yung scenario. Ang intuition ng babae, yung antena ng babae, grabe. Talagang ramdam na ramdam. Yung di pa nga umuwi, ramdam na niya eh. So ngayon, pag uwi, nakita pa niya, lalapit ngayon si Mrs. kay Mr. May problema ka, no? Wala, okay lang ako. Sabihin mo na, okay lang ba kaya ako? Hindi, ramdam ko may problema ka. Okay lang ako. Sabihin mo sino. Ikaw! That's not all. Ayaw mo na. Nagigits nyo ba? Hello? Ito naman. Allow me to, I'm sure some of you know it already, probably it's just a reinforcement. Why we as men, we don't want to talk about it. Why? Number one reason is this. We don't want to put pressure anymore on the That's number one. Number two, ang ginagawa namin, we try to think of ways to solve our problem on our own. Once we have found a solution, that's a time that we want to what? Talk about it. Unless we have found a solution, a way to solve it, we will never talk about it. Rarely. Nagigets nyo ba? It's a nature eh. Nature ng men yan. Pero ang mga women, di ba? When they talk about a problem, they're not there to look for the solution. They're just there to express. Eh yun din ang problema. Men, ang isipan, they want to fix things. Eh. Kung may problema, ano dapat gawin? Mga lalaki? Ayusin natin. Ang mga babae, kung may problema, pag-usapan natin. Wala kayo sa pag-usapan lang. Example, ayan, ito para makarelate kayo, pag uwi ko, pagod ako, ayan. Pag uwi ko, ano yung kapitbahay natin, sobrang na, nagtatapon ulit ng basura. Mga basurahan, ano gagawin mo? Mababarangay ko na sila. Hindi mo ko naririnig. Anong gagawin mo? Hindi mo naririnig. Mababarangay ko sila. Presidente ka pa ng asosasyon? Ano gagawin mo? Pababarangay ko sila. Ano sagot sa akin ng misis ko? Hindi ka marunong makinig, hindi mo ko nararamdaman. Pareho ka lang talaga ng kapitbahay natin. Magsama kayo! Hindi naman ako nagtapon ng basura. She asked me a question, and I was answering the question, barangay ko sila. Di ba ang solution yun? Tama mali. But you know what? Listen. When women talk, men, please. Men, listen to this. Kung ito na mapipick up nyo, it's worth your trip. When women start talking, they don't want answers. They don't want solution. You know what women want? Women just want to be heard. Sinasabi na, hindi ako naging ng solution. Hindi ako naging pakinggan mo lang ako. So, I developed the art of listening. Now, do you want to learn the art of listening? Yes or no, men? Come on, let me teach you today. Okay, everybody, repeat after me. Men lang. You say yes?
Yes.
I understand.
I understand.
But before you do that, make sure you look straight at their eye, not at your cell phone. Do not text. Eye-to-eye contact. And you say, yes. Yes.
Yes.
I understand. Okay, again, may sinasabi siya. Again, sagot. Yes. I understand. May sinasabi ko na, ganun sunod niya. Yes. I understand. That's the way. No, alam mo, powerful yun. Maniwala kayo. Pagkatapos yan, okay, tapos na siya. Okay, that's it. Tapos na. No, you gotta understand, women are just like pressure cookers. Ano may pressure cooker? Pag may pressure, anong gagawin mo? Hindi mo pwedeng buksan, biglaan. Sasabog yun! Sasabog! So, gagawin mo, tatanggalin mo yun, ano? Yung pito, yung whistle, yes or no? Eh, pag tinagay yung whistle, ano yan? Hihintayin mo, wala, tama mali. Oo, tapos minsan, di ba, wala na, mahina na, di ba? Patulog na kayo eh. Bigla na lang, ano mo ba kapitbahay natin? Yes, I understand. Di ba tapos? Do you understand? Nagigits ba? Mga husband, ito lang ang please lang. If you want to have a happy and then, when you talk about communication, it's not talking eh. Communication, another word for communication in terms of husband and wife, it's called connection. We got to learn how to connect with one another. Connect not with the mind, especially. connect with their heart sa women. But women, when you talk to your husband naman, you cannot use lang emotions. You got to talk naman in terms of what? Logic. And logic in the sense, iba talaga eh. Ang babae, pag may nakita na may magandang gamit para sa bahay, sabihin kay Mr. Maganda siya, di ba? Bagay siya sa bahay. Ang lalaki naman kasi, magkano yan, magkano. Gets nyo? Iba eh. Ito lang, wives, do you want to convince your husband to have that? Yes or no? You got to learn how to talk to their language. Alam mo, mahal, ito, kaya natin makuha ito. Alam mo bakit? 12 month zero interest. Not only that, bibenta ko yung luma, magdadagdag lang tayo ng konti, may bago na tayo. Nagigets nyo? That's how they think. Ano mo sabihin mo? Tapos sabihin mo, pag di mo binili yan, di mo ko love. Ha? Pinakasalamahan kita, di kita love. Nagigets nyo ba? Kaya nga eh, very important that you got to understand the love language of men and women. Ano ka ba? Let's talk about men and women also. Please. One thing I learned about men is this. Men can live without food for 30 days, 7 days without water, 7 minutes without oxygen, but men cannot live a second without appreciation and hope. Wives, please, inside this room, learn how to appreciate your husband. Make an effort. Kahit na, ano yung appreciate ko? Wala naman. Maghanap ka! Hindi, nagigets ka ba? Ang lalaki talaga, nabubuhay sa ano yan eh. Yung ano ba? Alam mo, I really appreciate my wife. Every day yan. Ano sinasabi niya, you know what, I'm so blessed na ikaw pinakasalam ko. Hindi ko talaga alam kung iba ang pinakasalam. Hindi ko nga alam kung sincere siya o hindi. Pero para sa akin, hindi mahalaga yun. Ang mahalaga yung naririnig ko. And every day, you know what? I also appreciate my wife. I always tell her, alam mo, mahal, you're so pretty, napakaganda mo, I'm so blessed. Araw-araw ba, yung mga tanong ba, love mo ba ako? Oo naman. Bakit? Yun ang tanong, bakit? Sabi lang ni Lord. Yung mga ganun ba? No, that's the reason why. Ano yan 5 things. Everyone say 5 things.
5 things.
That you got to understand kung ano man yung love language ng Mr. and Mrs. mo. Everybody say the word called tag. Tag. T-A what? G. Number 1, your love language or appreciation for your wife or husband, maybe number 1 is touch. Touch. Yung matouch ba? Yung para sa kanya, importante na hahawakan niya. May mga ibang touchy eh. Kung yun yung parang need ng spouse mo, I would suggest that you should give that. Diba? May mga iba touch eh. May mga iba naman time. Everybody say time.
Time.
Mahalaga sa kanilang oras. Basta kahit wala kang gawin, nandiyo ka lang sa katabi, makikita ka, yung present ka lang, mahalaga yun para sa kanila. Some people naman is what? Appreciation. Everybody say appreciation. Words of appreciation. Yun yung parang hindi naman binobola mo, but you really appreciate it sincere from your heart. And some people is act of service. When you say act of service, yung pagsilbihan mo, yun yung sintonado naman. Joke lang na. Act of service, when you say act of service, yun, my wife, walang palto siya. Kahit pagod na ako. Timpla mo naman ako ng tea. Alauna ng umaga, timpla mo, bababa pa ako. Para sa kanya, love yun. Or last but not the least, G. It's called gift. Regalo. May mga iba yung gusto ng regalo. Not really in terms of expensive. Kasi ang gift kasi, ang representation yun, naalala mo yung tao. Nagigets nyo? So you got to learn those things with your spouse. Ano ba yung weakness? Ano ba yung need? Especially, always remember this. Women naman, mga wives, ako makikiusap ako sa inyo. Huwag niyo na pakainin yung husband niyo, huwag niyo na pagsilbihan, huwag lang mawawala ang word na respect. Everybody say respect.
Respect.
Men live by what? Respect. Alam ko, some of you might be saying, paano kung hindi na maka-respect yung asawa ko? No, there. Please naman. Always remember this. No matter what happens, this is a family rule in our house. Even with our kids, even with especially with my spouse, with my wife. Correct in private, praise in public. I will repeat. Correct in private, praise in public. Kung may magandang nagawa, ay praise natin sa harap ng tao. You know what happened? You know what mama did? Okay, pag kami mali, dapat private na kayo. Not in, especially please, not in front of your what? Your kids. Ano mo, hindi ko makalimutan eh. Ba't kailangan natin magbakasyon? Ano yung purpose ng bakasyon? Anong purpose?
Ano ay?
Bonding para masaya. Tama? Minsan napapansin nyo yung bakasyon nagiging source of stress and conflict. Experience yun. One time, ayan, punta naman kami sa isang resort. Ang haling tapat, yun talaga alas 12. Yung mga ganun, alas 12. Tapos may nakitang bike yung anak ko. Yung anak ko. Can we bike? Sabi ko, sure, but can we do it later? Pag hindi na mainit, pumasok na si misis ko. Minsan lang ang magbabike yung anak mo. Kasi ayaw mo pa. Busy ka nga parati. Tapos minsan lang, hindi mo pa pagbibigyan. Sa harap ng anak. Siyempre, masakit ba yun? Yes or no? Ano, kinuha ko ng bike. Sige, magbabike na kami. Magbabike na kami. Nagigets niyo? Anong dahil doon? Hindi ako kinausap ng 2 years. Hindi naman gano'n. Nagigets niyo? So it's very important if you have issues, don't talk about it in front of your what? Your kids. Always remember, again, when you have conflicts, when you have argument, our goal is to what? Agree. When you have fights, our goal is to what? Reconciliation. This is what I want you to do right now. Are you learning so far? Yes or no?
Yes.
The next topic that we're going to discuss is we're going to talk about intimacy and money. That's more interesting. But before we talk about intimacy, may request lang po ako. All of you have books right now as a couple. Would you agree? Yes or no? If I would have really to teach you this entire session, I need at least 1.5 days, which I don't have. That's the reason why, sa lahat po kayo, you have already this book. That's the reason why in every chapter here, at the end of the chapter, like for example, let's look at page 66. Page 66. Can you get me tissue, please? Page 66. In every chapter, sa likod po, meron po nakasulat, think, reflect, and what? Apply. I want you, once you go home, you go ahead and discuss. What? Because we don't have time to discuss right now. Kasi kung workshop ko to, hahaba po talaga itong usapan natin. Wala tayong masyadong time. And then number 2, especially, I want really to talk about yung sa finance on the last part. But even though if I want to download much information about family finance, I need also 1 whole day. So kulang din yung oras. Let me ask you na lang, para diretsyohan na lang tayo. Sino sa inyo dito, gusto nyo talagang matutong mag-save ng pera? Mag-budget, family budget. Okay, sino po sa akin dito may mga utang? At huwag kayong sasagot na lahat, please. Sino nananalangin na sana mawala ng utang niyo? Sino nananalangin na sana mawala ng inutangan niyo? Katabi ko pa. No, seriously. If you want to learn, unfortunately, that's not my time. But, I have good news. If you want to learn, I have already created the first and only money kit in the Philippines that teaches you how to save, how to budget, how to invest, how to become debt-free. Who among you inside this room are breadwinners? Who among you are bread eaters? One breadwinner, bread. Ito lang, please. You got to teach your kids how to handle money. Question, at what age? What should be the right age of teaching your kids about money? 65? Yes, exactly. The moment they know how to spend, you should teach them already. It does walang age yan eh. Basta marunong, I want this, I want that. Kailangan ma-introduce mo na yung concept of money. Would you agree? Yes or no? In this money kit, meron na siyang tinatawag, especially if you want to learn how to budget, meron siyang expenditure envelope, budgeting envelope, saving envelope, positive buying envelope, investment envelope. All you need to do is just follow. I don't know if you know this. Do you know that you have to write down all of your expenses on a daily basis? You got to know where your money is going in order for you to know where you're heading. There are only two financial directions, financial freedom and financial what? Disaster. Have you ever asked yourself at the end of the year, this is the question you ask yourself, saan napunta ang kinita ko? Yes or no? Ibig sabihin, you don't write it down. Kahit na tumanda ka na, mag-retire ka, hindi mo pa rin alam. That's the reason why you got to keep track. And good news, once you have this it has a budgeting software. May software na siya to make it simple. Week in a glance, month in a glance, year in a glance, makikita mo kung positive ka, negative, red ka o black. Nagigets nyo? Automated siya. And meron pa siyang mga tinatawag na mga sinasuggest na expenses na hindi natin alam. Okay, example, sino sa inyo nagbabudget dito? When you do budgeting sa home? Question. Yung anak nyo may birthday. Ay, wala. Hindi, nagpa-birthday. Question. From your monthly budget, kasama pa yung birthday expense?
Kasama.
Meron ba kayong mga pinang-attend ng wedding, anniversary, binyag, kasal? Yes or no? Kasama ba yung gift expenses?
Amen.
Hindi.
Amen.
Nagigets nyo?
Kasama.
You'll be shocked and surprised. Now,
Yeah,
we thought that all of our expenses are
kasama.
accounted for. And then once you start
birthday.
tabulating and writing that, then you would realize, ang
Pinasend
dami
sa mami
palang
mo.
wala.
Nicole Bird.
So in other words,
Kung ano
this
pala,
software can
kung
help you.
ano ni, normal
And not
lang
only
na,
that,
sa pulpi wala.
in order for you to come to my session, I need one whole day. And then once you come to my one whole day, I charge a fee. In Manila, I charge 3.5. But I'm based in Manila. So two choices. You go to Manila, buy a plane ticket, and you pay for 3.5. Husband and wife, that's 7,000 pesos. It's costly. So in other words, not everyone can go because of the cost, or probably they may have the money, but they don't have the time. Agree? So I thought of a good idea. So what I did basically was this. I recorded my one whole day session, put it on DVD. So what does it mean? If you have this, you and your entire family will be able to watch, learn, and view, and apply at the comfort of your home. Do you think that's a good idea? As a matter of fact, I did this for an OFW. Why? One time, I received a Facebook message from Qatar. Sir, can you please come to Qatar? My next question, how many people am I going to speak to? Sabi niya, sir, ako. Next question, ang trabaho, welder, sir, welder. Hindi niya naiintindihan, akala niya, bibili ako ng plane ticket, siset na ako na kami ng appointment, tapos usap kami, pagkatapos uwi na ako. He doesn't understand. That's the reason why I created this, to also reach out to more people. Okay, the entire kit, there's an investment cost, so you don't have to pay 3.5, it's only 2,000 what? 500 pesos. Okay? Do you think it's a good investment for your family? Yes or no? But wait, there's more. Parang kung TV shopping lang to. I've already written 6 books, okay? Tilted to Aspired, For Richer and For Poor, Rich God, Poor God, Secrets of the Rich and Successful, How I Made My First Million, Shane Constant. If you buy all my books at the bookstore, may bookstore ba dito sa National? 400 each. 6 times 4, magkano? 2,400. If you order the money kit today, everybody say all. Everybody say all. All of the books are included for free. So sa 2,500, kasama na po yung 6 books. Okay? Do you think it's a good deal? Yes or no? Let me tell you this. You coming to my... I make no apologies, by the way, when I promote books and seminars. Why? You coming to my seminars, reading my books will not make me rich. But if you learn from it, apply in your life, it will make you rich. So if you want this, what we're going to do, All of you have books right now. During our break, we're going to have a, how many minutes po ang break? 30 minutes. During our 30 minutes break, okay, I can sign the books. Number 2, please don't miss the second portion. Yung intimacy at saka yung money. That will be more interesting. If you pick something already from communication, you will pick more from the second. Kaya bumalik po kayo. And then if you want to order the money kit, please order it at the back and I'll also sign the kits for you. Okay? So time right now exactly at 3:15. Please be back here by 3:45. Okay? Thank you very much. Oo, parang tatanong niya, uy, mahal, ano sa palagay mo sa idea na ito? Di ba? Ano sa palagay mo? Kung ikaw ang magde-decide, ano sa palagay mo? Parang, Di ba nagigets mo? Alam ko na gusto niya yun. Alam ko yun. Pero, she knows how to say it. And likewise, I always tell people, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Would you agree? Yes or no? Sige, one more. Dito naman po. Madam. Sige, hindi kasi, okay lang. Oo.
Kanina ka patingin ang tingin sa akin kasi.
Ano sinasabi mo, may motibo mo kasi.
Ay, sa totoo lang, meron ba?
Wala. Sana wala. Hindi mo na, ano pangalan? What's your name?
Bing.
Bing, ano yung natutunan mo? One thing.
Yung nothing but.
Oh.
Talagang hit na hit sa akin yun.
Oo.
Talagang tumpak na tumpak.
Oo.
Baril na baril.
Oo. Di ba parang siyang zombie?
Oo. Makita
Okay.
lang siya doon. Nag-iisip pa na.
Oo.
Tapos ako na inis dahil
Parang-
hindi niya ako kinakausap.
Oo, parang siyang manhid, di ba?
Oo,
Parang siyang-
manhid na manhid to the max.
Oo. Sir, ikaw naman, ano naman?
Hindi siya nagsasalita.
Bakit?
Joke lang.
Pinapit mo para siya.
Joke!
Kala ko pipi. Sir, ikaw naman, bumanti ka.
Akala niya din sa likod daw, akala niya din pipi. Hindi nagsasalita siya, no? Magsalita ka. Pero tumingin ka muna sa akin. At saka,
Ano?
wait lang ha. Whisper muna kung ano sasabihin. Joke pa rin.
What's your name, sir?
Ay, salamat. Bigyan rin ako ng pagkakataon.
Come on! Yes! Ito na yung panahon ng paghihigat na eh. Okay, what's your name, sir?
I'm Dave.
Dave.
Ito lang siya ang masasabi ko.
Oh.
We stay together dahil pareho kaming may imperfection. Yan.
No! Grabe ka talaga, sip-sip ka talaga. Ang klase ka. Oo. Meron pa ba? Meron pa gusto mag-share? Oh, nako, mga iba. Mamaya, yung mga nahihiya, yan ang tatawagin ko. Okay, let's continue. Pakibabaan lang yung mic ko para hindi tayo mag-feedback. So, we're gonna talk about intimacy. Everybody say intimacy.
Intimacy.
What do you mean by intimacy? Intimacy is simple as two people falling in love, at the same time falling in love, and then after you fall in love, before you create children, okay, before you create children, you need to have what we call as SEX. And oftentimes, when you talk about this, it's not often discussed publicly. Yung mga ganun. You don't discuss it in a public meeting. That's the reason why there's a problem. Another problem is, when we talk about SEX, how do you view it? What is your perspective? What's your worldview? Ito lang everybody, look up here. Garbage in, what you sow is what you want. Read. And when you look at intimacy, sometimes hindi masyadong maganda. Kasi yung upbringing ba, yung pagtingin mo, ang tingin mo doon is sex is what? Dirty. It's yucky. Diba? Nagigets nyo? But in reality, sex is not yucky, it's not dirty. In the right context, especially if it's done in the bounds of marriage, sex is good. Because God created sex. Would you agree? Yes or no? And then, ito lang yan eh. How would you know if two individuals are really in love with one another? It all depends on their what? Intimacy. And I do believe intimacy is just a result of the quality of their what? Relationship. If you have good relationship, you will have a good intimate life. If you have a not so good relationship, you have a not so good intimate life. Naniniwala kayo doon? Yes or no? Kung nagmamahalan sa tao talaga talagang yung nandun pa rin yung pagmamahal, committed kayo to one another, di ba nag-aaway yan, pero after that, you kiss and make up, nandun yun eh. Kaya kung minsan, nagtataka kayo, ba't wala na? May problema. Why? Listen. Everything that happens to the outside must first happen in the inside. Everything that happens to the exterior must first happen in the interior. If you don't like the output, you don't change the output, you better change the input. And then we need to have the right perspective. Everybody say perspective. Yung mindset mo about SEX. Again, God created sex to be good in the bounds of what? Marriage. Hindi to nilikha ng tao. Binigay sa atin to ni Lord. As a matter of fact, if you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, because it is God who instituted and created marriage. So wala talaga dapat pwede magbago dyan. Ang pwede magbago lang yan, yung salita ng Diyos. At yung salita ng Diyos hindi nagbabago. It says here, it is not good for a man to be what?
Alone.
The woman was made to be a helper suitable for what? So nakita ng Diyos na hindi pwede talaga mag-isa yung lalaki. Unfortunately, yun nga. Nakita ni Lord, pag mag-isa daw ng lalaki, masisira ulo. Kaya dapat may kasama. But, everybody say but as you can notice, the woman was made to be a what?
Helper.
Helper. Ay, hindi ako nagsasabi na nga. Huwag kayo mag-react. Anong helper sa ano? O katulong. Ayun.
Katuwang.
Helper suitable for what? For him. In other words, ito lang, parang for you to be, do you believe in the Word of God? Yes or no?
Amen.
And the Word of God is consistent. As a matter of fact, God says the head of the family, di ba? God created man to be the head, di ba? And women are just, women submit yourself to your what? Husband. So, sino yung head? Clearly, the men are the head. And women are just the helper. Sorry. So in other words, if men are the head, women are just the supporter, women are only just the neck. But the problem is this, the neck controls the head. Tama ba yun, Lord? Diba? At saka ano yan eh, always remember na talagang kailangan po natin kasi pagka hindi mo naintindihan to, you need to start to twist the Word of God. That's where the problem lies. Naniniwala ba kayo na, again, sex is good within the bounds of marriage?
Amen.
Yes or no?
Amen.
God created sex, number one, for procreation. To create. Number two is also for you and your husband, you and your spouse and your wife to enjoy. Again, there's nothing wrong about it. Kasi there's what we call as feelings eh. Kaya nga, it's very important for us to understand, if God created something for it to be good, you cannot deprive it. Huwag mong sabihin na, hindi ko pwedeng to. Why? If you look at the scripture again, on 1 Corinthians 7:4, basahin ng sabay-sabay, 1, 2, 3. The wife does not have what? Over her own body, but the husband what? And likewise, also the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife
Das.
So stop depriving one another. Ika nga hindi mo na pag-aari yung katawan mo and vice versa, hindi mo na pag-aari yung katawan. So in other words, kung may pangailangan bawat isa, kailangan po do not deprive with one another. Yun yung nagiging problema. Minsan, diba? Gusto yung isa. Sagot naman isa. Sakit ang ulo ko eh. Wag tayo, Jessica. Jessica. Bilisan mo. And then, magminsan naman yung isa naman, diba? Si lalaki naman. Oy, ako sabi ng misis. Okay. Maganda suot ni misis. Alam mo naman, may national costume. Okay. Pagod ako eh. You know what? Listen, as husband and wife, the best gift that you can give your spouse is this. Whenever he or she has a need, you must fulfill it. That is the best gift that you can give. Even though, nagagets nyo, sometimes you don't feel, ay nako, maniwala kayo, there are days you don't feel like it. Or everyday feel nyo. Everyday, di ba, there are days na physically, you're tired, emotionally, di ba ayaw mo? Pero ang problema, iba-iba yung timing ng mag-asawa. Pero the best gift that you can give is yun na, when you what? Fulfill the needs of your spouse. May nagtatanong nga ito lang ha. Sige, before we go to that. May ano lang pakiusap, can I make a request? Wives, once you have an argument with your husband, once you have a fight, please, at no cost, never, ever use sex as a weapon against your husband. Away kayo, di ba? Pagkatapos, si Mr. Sabi, manigas ka! Magtiis ka! Oh, no. Pag-usapan nyo, huwag nyo gagawin. Why? Please na naman, yung mga ibang lalaki kasi pinapasok na, bakit? Kung ayaw mo, sa labas ako. Bakit? Meron sa labas ako. Don't ever do that, please. Husband, never allow the devil to give you a foothold. Don't even entertain that idea that you will go out to fulfill your needs. No. God created sex to be good in the bounds of marriage, but it will become ugly outside the bounds of marriage. Don't ever commit that mistake. Ako naman, makikiusap na naman sa husbands. Husbands, kung meron kayong argument with your spouse, with your wife, okay. Maniwala kayo. Asawa natin, mga misis natin, can have sex even without, can live without sex even for 100 years. But never, ever say this. Wala kaming sustento. Manigas ka rin. Wala kang pang-shopping. You know what? Never use naman money against your wife. Nagigits nyo ba? Wala, gantihan lang yun eh. Ito lang, let's set the record straight. The reason why I say, men, don't ever commit the mistake of being angry and then you have disagreement and then you will go out and find to fulfill your needs. Let me tell you one story. This is a true story. As a couple, they fought. After they fought, again, wala sa mood, namabas si lalaki. Pumunta sa bar, kasama ng friends niya, may namiting lalaki, may isang babae. In other words, about the story short, nagkaroon ng one night stand. One time lang it happened. He only remained unfaithful one time in his married life. That's it. After that, never happened again. After 10 years, then he realized he contracted AIDS. You know what was worse? He even infected his wife. So 2 of them got AIDS. One moment of what? Decision. One wrong decision, it's a lifetime of what? Regret. Hello? In other words, man, let me tell you this, it is not worth it. It's not worth it. Kung may issue kayo, pag-usapan nyo, ayusin ko, pero walang ganunan. Kasi kung imagine mo, araw-araw sa ginawa ng Diyos, iisipin mo, meron ba ako wala? It's not worth it. So question, how often should you be intimate with one another? According to psychologists and doctors, alam mo, in order for you to really have a great intimate life, at least 2 to 3 times a week. May nagtanong sa akin sa isang seminar, Chiki, paano kung more? Ang sagot ko, the more, the better. So, ibig sabihin, you have a great what? Relationship. Di ba? You have a great intimate life. Pero nagsasabi naman si Chiki, 2 to 3 times, paano na kung medyo may edad na kami? It decreases when it comes to age. Hindi yan ang basis. Pero, nagigits niyo ba? Hello? One more request. Kung among you have kids 10 years old and above, 10 and above, I hope that your kids will get their sex education from their parents, not
Amen.
from outside, not from YouTube, not from their friends,
Amen.
not from pornographic site, but they will get their sex education from the parents.
Amen.
I can still remember when my daughter turned 12 years old. I dated her. I date my daughter once a month. Different occasion, yung first week, yung third week, yung son ko, I date him always on second week. Ay son ko. And when I dated her, when she turned 12, I gave her a ring, a virginity ring. And I told her, my daughter, this ring is a sign of your covenant between you and God, that you would remain faithful to God, and that you would stay virgin, and you would stay holy and pure in the eyes of God and the eyes of man. The only time that you would remove this ring is when you are about to get married, and you would change it to an engagement ring so that you can use this for your future husband. So in other words, my wife and me, we deliberately, intentionally educate our children with regards to, in terms of having an intimate relationship. Especially my son is 13 right now. He started to ask me questions, Pa, why am I so attracted with rounded things? Sabi ko, hormones yan, hormones. You're turning to become a man already, so you will get attracted. It is natural for you to get attracted, but the question is not the attraction. The question is, how do you handle that attraction? Nagigets nyo ba? Alam mo, you cannot pretend. You and I cannot pretend that our children are not growing up. Uulitin ko sa'yo, if we do not educate our children, YouTube will educate them. Facebook will educate them. But the problem is, you know what the education they will get from them. Agree? Sige. I don't want to make people uneasy, so let me move on to the next topic. The next topic, we're going to talk about the lack of what? Money. Everybody say money.
Money.
I don't know if you will agree with the statement, 50% of all marriages fail and finances is the leading source of separation by a factor of 4:1. Ang punot dulo, kadalasan ng away nagsimula sa loob ng pamilya ay dahil saan? Would you agree? Yes or no? As I mentioned, I got married in 1999. When I married my wife, I thought I married one person. I was wrong. I married the entire family. At hindi mo maiiwasan na lalapit sa iyong kamag-anak, incorporated. Ang dahil nila, nagkakata mo ba? Grabe. Kung ano yung tulong na binigay mo sa pamilyang to, yun din ang tulong na ibibigay mo sa kabilang pamilya. Technically, how many families are we supporting? How many? 3. Diba? Your family, your in-laws, and your outlaws. Hindi na outlaw, kaya nga in-law outlaw. Simple lang po man. No, seriously speaking. Supporting one family nowadays is quite difficult and challenging. How much more if you're going to support 3? Are you saying, Chinky, we just don't mind one another, we don't support our friends and relatives? No, I'm not saying that. You want to help other people? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Amen.
Rule number one, especially in the family setting, this can help you, family finance. Charity starts at home.
Amen.
Ang bawat bawa magsimula sa sariling tahanan. If you're single in this house, your priority must be your parents, your brothers and sisters. Go ahead and support them. But once you get married, your priority changes. Who becomes your priority? Who?
Core
No, let's be specific. Sino sa pamilya mo? It should be your spouse and your children. Your wife, your husband, and your what? Your children. And next, your what? Your family, your extended family. Your real family becomes an extended family. And that has to be clear to both husband and wife. If that is not clear to both husband and wife, that is where the confusion and the argument starts. What do I mean? Let's say si Mr. ang may hawak ng pera, siya ang breadwinner, siya ang may hawak ng pera. Lalapit si nanay, anak, baka pwede nang tulungan kapatid mo, last second nito. Itawid na natin pera ng 15,000. Sagot ni Mr. Sabi ko naman misis ko, alam mo naman iba lang katayuan ko ngayon. Naku, huwag mo sabi misis mo, sabi ni mama, na mama niya. Naku, hirap mag-design niya, 2 years siya bago mag-design. So na-pressure niya si husband, na nagpautang ng 15,000 na hindi nagpapaalam kay Mrs. At the middle naman, lumapit naman si Mrs. kay Mr. Ha? Di ba may extra tayong pera? Ha? Di ba may extra pera? Ha? Bili ka ba? Ha? Doon nalaman, ano nangyari? Ano nangyari? Third world war. Sige, and they kiss up, apologize, okay. The same month. Lumapit naman si nanay kay Mrs. Na, baka pwede man tulungan si papa mo. 5,000, pang maintenance lang, hindi pa dumadating SSS pension niya since 1979. Kausapin ko, Mr. Ko siya may hawak ng pera. Lumapit naman si Mrs. kay Mr. Nangutang si Mama ng 5,000. Sagot ni Mr. Hindi pa pinabalik ni Mama. Ang ibig sabihin sa nanay mo, pwede sa nanay ko, hindi! Away. Hello? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Who among you incentives from you help and support your extended families? There's nothing wrong. The key is this. The key is this. As long as you agree. Everybody say agree.
Agree.
Walang problema. Tulungan. Basta magkaisa kayo. Me and my family, me and my wife, we support our extended family. My wife supports the mother, yung binan ko. Single na lang kasi wala na si papa niya. So we help in our capacity. And likewise, I also help my parents. Both of them are still surviving, both of my mom and my dad. But there's a different scenario, different case because my father is going through dialysis for 7 years. So if we're going to look at the financial yung support, mas malaki sa pamilya kumpara sa pamilya niya. Tama po ba? Logical naman yun. Hindi naman emotional thing yun. But I really thank God and really praise God that my wife, I've never heard anything from my wife saying, ba't mas malaki yung ganyan sa pamilya? Ba't sa nanay ko may maliit? Kung gusto mo, pareho lang bigyan natin. Sabihin mo sa nanay mo, mag-dialysis na siya ngayon. Mag-umpisa na siya ngayon. Ngayon na! Di ba nakakainis? Di ba nagigits niyo ba? Labo naman. Ano magkakampi ba tayo? Magkaaway ba tayo? Gusto mo bang maubos ba pondo natin? Hirap na nga tayo. Di ba? No, it never happened to us. And I really thank God. It never happened. That we know we're a team, we want to help, but we can only help so much. Nagigets nyo? Kaya please na, that's number 1, ha? Number 2 also, you want to help others? Yes or no? You want to help others?
Yes.
Make sure that both of you, aside from agreement, both of you must be honest. I'm going to tread some sensitive issues right now. Okay lang na ma-offend kayo. Bakit? Hindi na ako babalik dito. Please never justify. Anyway, I'm doing something good naman. It's okay for me not to tell my spouse. Please, don't do that. Never do that. Babalik tayo eh. The foundation of relationship is what?
Trust.
If there's no trust, there's no relationship. Let me ask you this question. What if you discovered that your spouse is keeping something from you and helping their friends and relatives without your consent? Kahit na kayo sa budget, tapos yung pa yung nangyayari, tapos na-discover mo, how would you feel? How? Magagalit ka, mainis ka. Tama ba rin? Exactly. Kung ikaw maiinis ka, ganun din mararamdaman ng misis mo kung may nililihim ka. The feeling is mutual. So in other words, mas maganda na yung magsabi na lang kayo. Diba? Pag hinilihim mo pa rin, mahirap eh. You're doing something good, pero ang problema, you feel bad because you're not disclosing it to your spouse. And number 3, charity starts at home. You must agree. Tapos, be honest. Number 4, you can never give what you do not have. Sometimes, as much as we want to help and support and extend help to others, but there are times talagang we're so tight, kapos ba? Pero alam nyo, ibang Pinoy. It's more fun in the Philippines. Ay, nako. Anong gagawin ng Pinoy pag nautangan at walang pera? Anong gagawin? Mangutang para ipag-utang. I have nothing against it, especially if you are a single person because that's your life. But if you're married, you cannot do that. I don't know if you understand what you mean by conjugal property. When you say conjugal, whatever your spouse owns, you own. Whatever your spouse owes, di ba? You owe. Kung ano utang niya, utang niya. Utang mo rin. Hindi mo pwede sa sa akin lang to. No. Kasama ka. Agree?
Amen.
Next. When it comes to family finance, ano naman stand niyo bilang mag-asawa pag may nangungutang? May pagkakataon ba may lumalapit sa inyo at nangungutang? Nung nangungutang, napakabait.
Amen.
May background music para maganda yung mood. I cried the tears, you wiped it dry, I was confused, I will survive. Tapos nung nangungutang, napakabait, iba nakakuha ng pera. Nung maniningil ka na, sila ng ano? Pagagalitan. Kapal na mukha mo, naniningil ka. Hindi mo ba alam? Sa dami-dami na kaibigan ko, ikaw nga inutang ako, may utang na loob ka pa. Sila pang galit. That's the reason why. Again, I don't know what's your stand when it comes to lending money. Me and my wife, we agree. Again, everybody say agree. Once we lend money, we don't lend out money, we give away money. What do you mean? Uy, Jakey, pautang mo ng 25,000. Narinig, uy, nangihingi lang ng 25,000. So mag-uusap kami, magkano kaya natin ibigay kahit na hindi na ibalik? Hindi masisira yung budget natin. 2.5. Eh bakit kailangan kikialangin? Ang kailangan namin, bakit kailangan kikialangin? Tignan mo ugali nyo. So, yung kunyari, pare, pasensya ka na, 2.5 rin yung kain namin. Pag nakaluwag-luwag ka, ibalik mo. Pag bumalik, praise the Lord. Pag di bumalik, condolence. Abuloy na namin yun. No, nagigits nyo ba? We will not make plans on the money that we lend out. Useless. How many times you lend out of good intention, and when the time you needed the money most, and then when you're asking for the money, grabe ka. Anong klase ka kaibigan? Naalala mo ba na ito nilong kita 1975? Grabe ha. Hindi ka lang hysterical, historical ka pa ha. Di ba, nagigets mo, pinabalik na pa yung sitwasyon. Anong klase ka kaibigan? Piniipit mo lang, iniipit mo pa kami. Mahirap eh, away lang yun eh. That's the reason why. Yun yung philosophy namin. Now, next question. Again, let's talk about family finance. Who should handle the finance in the family? Should it be the wife or the husband? Sino sabing wife? Sino sabing husband? Sabing both. Sino sabing walang kasarian? O Ditya? I may be right, I may be wrong, but listen, treat this information I'm going to share with you right now just like eating a piece of fish. When you eat a piece of fish, you eat the meat, you spit out the bones. It may be right or it may be wrong. Who should handle the finance in the family? Whoever among you is more gifted, more disciplined, more, probably creative, he or she should handle the money. Nagigets nyo? Sino yung mas magaling? Sino yung mas marunong? Sino yung mas disiplinado? Tama? Hindi yan issue ng gender. It's an issue of gifting and skills and calling. Alam niyo, believe me, guys, you will understand this. Marriage is just like a workshop. The other one work and the other one shops. Oo, hindi lang yun. May mga kilala ba kayo? Diba? Pag, may lagnat ha? May lagnat. 40 degrees ha? 40 degrees. Tapos nabalitaan, may sale. May sale. Gumagaling. Ano ko may lagnat? Hindi, magaling na ako. At, nakapunta na kayo ng sale. Nakapunta na kayo. Broken sizes, kabundukan na din, mamimili. Habang namimili, hindi nakatingin sa hawak, nakatingin yan sa hawak. Oras na binitawan mo yan, akin. In other words, I have no problem you buying stuff, especially in their sale. Ito lang po, especially mga The problem is not the sale. The problem is, do you have a budget? Do you have the money? I always tell people, do you know the good news and the bad news of sale? The good news of sale, the bad news of sale is this. Even if there's a sale, if you do not have a budget, you cannot buy. Ulitin ko Even if there's a sale, kung wala kang pera, Dili ka dapat mag-shopping. Tama?
Amen.
But, good news, kahit walang sale, kung may budget ka, pwede kang bumili.
Amen.
Do you follow? The issue is not the sale. The issue is the opportunity. And the issue is not the opportunity. The issue is, do you have the money? And then let me encourage you. Nako, if you catch this one lang, this will really help you. I will make a request especially to mga husband or wives. No? Kasi may mga iba, depende kung sino talaga magastos talaga. Walang masama mag-shopping, walang masama magbakasyon, walang masama na bumili ng gadget, walang masama na bumili ng bagong gamit, as long as may budget kayo. My wife, I call my wife mahal. Kanina niyo ba narinig? I call her at terms of endearment as mahal. Do you want to know the reason why I call her mahal? Because she's expensive. Okay lang, wala naman siya dito. Huwag niyo sasabihin! Sabi ako. No, you know, my wife talaga, very creative. Creative in spending our money. Pero you know what? Again, women are more on the artistic side, beautification. Men are more on the financial aspect. Magkano yan? Magkano? So ito lang po, request lang. Gusto nyo, you find balance to enjoy. Nagigets nyo? Kasi minsan, nawawala din yung, yung joy ba ng asawa natin, ng misis natin, to think, di ba? Ay, naku, yan na naman, kamo ka na naman, hindi ko mga sinasabi, tignan mo mitsura mo. Di ba, gagalit na naman eh. Ito lang, let's be fair. So let me encourage you. Like for example, sino sa inyo may planong magbakasyon as a family? You want to plan for a vacation? Okay. Sige. Are you married already?
Yeah.
Okay. Saan mo plano magbakasyon? Saan? As a family?
Next year,
Next year, no?
next year pa sa sister ko sa US.
US. Okay. So yun, ilan kayo? How many?
5.
5. Okay. 5 more or less yung plane fare, mga magkano per person? 40,000 yun, di ba? More or less. 40,000, so you need 200,000. Ilang linggo kayo doon?
Mga 1 week po.
1 week?
1 to 2 weeks. Maximum.
Huwag ka mag 1 week. Baka sabihin na travel ka ng 2 days na yun. Oo, stress yun. Bilisan nyo, bilisan nyo. No, hindi mo ano na lang. May stress yun. Wala kayo. 2 weeks, gano'n. Okay din 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, may kailangan may budget ka rin, di ba? Hotel, pagkain. O, so yung kasama ko, probably, gagastos ka ng mga 350. Okay. Kailan, ano next year? When is next year?
It's summer.
Summer, be specific.
March.
March. So ngayon is what? Ano yun?
June.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Probably 10 months. Tama. So what you need to do, as a couple, listen. You put a goal. Actually, it's in my money kit. Yun yung positive mind envelope. It's a yellow envelope. Put a goal as a family. Ito yung problem. Okay. I'll share it with you. Taka ko sa yung problema. Put it a goal as a family. 350,000 kailangan nyo. How many months from now?
10.
Divide by 350 by 10 months. So magkano per month? 35,000. Question right now to you. Where are you going to get the extra 35,000 pesos per month? Nalilits mo? Meron ka bang pagkukunan ng 35 per month ngayon? Kaya naman. Okay, good. Walang problema. But, you have to disclose it to the entire family. Ask me why.
Why?
So you have the plan, di ba? Ikaw na nakakaalam kung si misis mo, pero yung mga anak mo hindi, o ikaw na nakakaalam kasi gusto mo surprise. So yung 35,000, talagang sinisave mo yan. Hindi mo kukunan yan eh, hindi mo pwede kunin na sa hangin yan, tama mali. So while you are trying to save money, yung asawa mo clueless, yung anak mo clueless, they still continue to live that lifestyle. Na hindi mo naman sinasabi. Habang nag-spend sila, nainis ka. Gastos nyo, grabe! Hindi mo magtipid! Nangyari kita. Nagpuli pa ba siya? Then nagigets nyo ba? Because you don't disclose. Unlike, if you disclose this as a family, it becomes a family thing. Everybody gets excited. Okay, what reason why we need to, instead, okay, That's 35,000 pesos per month. Saan natin kukunin yan? So we have to cut down on this. We have to cut down on eating out. You know what? Alam nyo ba? Grabe to ha. Guys, ito lang. You just ask yourself, whenever you eat out with your family, how much do you pay per, more or less? 1.5. Pwede? Pwede 1.5? Yes or no? You do that every Sunday. Ano? Every Sunday. Just for that's 6,000 naman. That's 12 months. 72,000 pesos a year. Probably hindi tayo clueless ba? Anyway, it's for family. Okay lang yun. Pero the question, can you afford that? So, we need to go to America. So, probably 72,300. 5 years tayo walang kainan. Hindi naman ganun. Pero nagigets niyo ba? So, it becomes a family thing. It's a family journey. Hindi na-stress lang yung isa. Just like, again, recently, request ng daughter ko, July actually, mag-Hong Kong sana kami for yung parang birthday niya, basta meron siyang ginawa, nanalo siya sa ballet or something, so part of her reward, birthday, we want to go to Hong Kong Disneyland. And, syempre, okay, nag-set kami ng budget, and then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, I got an invitation from the US to speak. Ang problem is you need what? Visa. So wala pa akong visa. So nag-ano lang ako. So we just applied last week. And by the grace of God, we were able to get a visa. So ngayon, ito problema. May Hong Kong na, may US pa. Singkit ako, singkit. Lulong compute. Kasi ayoko masira sa ano ko, di ba? Ni-expect na July, tama? Eh, yung US, December pa. I have to talk to my daughter. Anak, anyway, as you know, we got approved sa visa, so we have plans to go to US by December. Let me ask you, do you want to go to Hong Kong Disneyland or US Disneyland? In Hong Kong Disneyland, Mickey Mouse speak Chinese. You understand? No? 10 years old ka din. In US, Mickey Mouse speak English. In other words, I was able to convince them to drop the plan for, nagigets nyo, to funnel the money to, nagigets nyo. So yun yun eh. So guys, let me encourage you na pag-usapan niyo yung finance in the family should never be a taboo thing. As a matter of fact, as a parent right now, having 15, 13, and 10 years old in our household, ultimately our goal in our lives is to raise up successful children. Agree? That's the reason why I'm really so thankful and grateful for my parents that they really raised me well, specifically with finance. They never allowed me to inherit a lot of money, and I really thank God that I wasn't born in a family that's really so well off. I was born in a family we're lower middle class, and to the point from lower middle class na demote kami to lower class. And because my father lost his business at the age of 12, I can still remember when I was at grade 6 during that time, 3 years he was so depressed, staring through out the window. And my mother was the one who's making both ends meet. Whenever I go to school, I don't have lunch money, I don't have baon. I will go to the comfort room, open the faucet, and drink as much water as I can. That will be my meal. Can you still remember Walter's wife? All of my classmates have lunchbox, stickers, notebooks. I will have none. I will wait until such time that their stickers will peel off. I will pick it from the floor, put glue, put it on my notebook. Some of you might say, you're so pathetic, it's a sticker. It's a sticker today, but during the time it wasn't. So at a very young age, I was, not so privileged, but at a very young age, I had a vision and a dream that I want to become a millionaire before I reach the age of 35. Why? Two compelling reasons. Number one, compelling reason, I do not want my children to experience what I've experienced when I was young. Number two, I do not want to see my parents becoming poor or going broke when they're old. Nagigets nyo? So at a very young age, I started my journey in terms of sales. I started my sales career at the age of 12. My first venture was to sell toilet paper. And my mom sold wholesale and I sold retail. During the time, I can still remember when the warehouse of the toilet paper factory would deliver the wholesale toilet paper to us. It's by boxes. One box contains 96 rolls. Isang ganyan. And then, we were so broke during that time, we cannot even hire a boy to pick up. Yung parang delivery boy ba? Na mag-pick up ba? Kasi nililipak ni mama from 96, ginagawa niya 4, ginagawa niya 12 para mas maliit ba? Pero I have to carry it. I was the one carrying it from the first floor to the second floor. One square meter of toilet paper contained 96. Do you know how heavy it was? That is one of the major reasons why I believe na nabatsot ako dahil sa kapitbit ng malintik na toilet paper na yan. Ang height ko dapat 6'5", hindi 5'5". Nawalan ako sa tangkal. And when I was, all of the family expense is covered through those selling of the wholesale toilet paper. And I sold retail to my classmates, teachers, principal. Wala, kapal-mukha na talaga. And I really was so thankful and grateful that the principal supported me and then bought the entire, the supply of the school from me. And during the time, I was making money at a very young age. And whenever I make money, listen, that's the reason why I want to tell you. They trained me as a child to save money, and this was the formula that they taught me. 50, 25, 25. Repeat after me. 50, 25, 25. 50% goes to savings, 25% goes to business to grow the money, 25% I can only spend. Whenever I earn 1 peso, 50 centavos goes to savings, 25 centavos to grow, to make it to a business, and 25 I can only spend. If I want to spend 1 peso because I want to buy some palo, gusto ko bumili sa palo sa tindahan ni Aling Elsa, how much should I earn? 4 pesos, 2 pesos savings, 1 peso for business, 1 peso I can spend. If I want to buy 1,000 pesos worth, I have to earn how much? 4,000, 2,000 savings, 1,000 for business, 1,000 I can spend. If my current lifestyle right now is 100,000, I have to earn how much? 400,000, 200,000 savings, 100,000 for business, 100,000 I can what? Spend. Ever since I was young, up to this present day, ladies and gentlemen, whenever I spend, I enjoy. Why do you think I enjoy so much whenever I spend? Why? Because the more I spend, the more I save. I cannot spend without saving. Hello? That was my way of thinking up to this present. But please, don't do this at home. Gayahin niyo 50, 25, 25, araw-araw kakain niyo. Anak, wala na kakain. Skyflakes lang tayo lahat. Skyflakes lang! Skyflakes! The reason why it wasn't difficult for me because ever since I was young, I was trained to think like that. Don't copy my model. Copy the principle. Change. Probably for you, savings is 5 to 10%. Nagigets nyo? And for yung sa business, to make it grow, another 5 to 10. Depends on what you are more comfortable with. But I have great news for you. Great news. Do you want to hear the great news? Yes or no?
Yes.
The great news is you can teach it to your children. Children are just like wet cement. Whatever you teach them, it will last for a lifetime. 30, my formula change. It becomes 10, 10, 30, 50. 10% I return to the Lord because I do believe everything comes from Him. I return a certain portion back to Him. Another 10% for helping others, offering. Di mo mawawala na mahingi ng tulong. 30% I save and 50% I spend. Kasi, nagigets diba? There's no rule. Basta importante, meron kang naitatabi. Agree?
Amen.
And these are the lessons that I've learned from my parents. That's the reason why this coming July, I'm going to release my latest book, co-written by my daughter, my eldest, si Kyla Tan. We're going to, and the title of the book is Raising Up Money-Wise Kids. 10 money lessons you need to teach your children in order for them to become rich. If there are only 10 money lessons, yun nga yung problema sinasabi ko sa mga ano eh. Sometimes we send them to the best school, we try to educate them. Pero you know what our children need? You know what our children need? It's not educational skills, it's not knowledge skills, it's called life skills. Life skills, yung ano ba? Oo, paano magbayad, paano kumuha ng sukli, paano makitawan, yung negotiation skills. Nagigets nyo? Yung mga anak natin minsan kasi tumawag, shy eh. Sige, maging shy ka, ako patay ka. Di ba nagigets nyo? So, if given an opportunity, do you want me to come back and I will share with you yung session na yun? Yes or no? Yes. So ito pong gagawin natin, I still have time. Is it okay? I'll open the floor for question and answer, and this is what we're going to do. I know some of you are not, you're shy, katulad ni Sir. Shy ka dahil sa misis mo. Okay. Please, alam niyo ba, you will learn more during the question and answer portion rather than the session itself because you can get to ask. So I will entertain at least five questions. Please, I will show you a cell phone number, but this is not my cell number. This is the cell number only for this occasion. Please type it right now. Type any questions you would like to ask. 0915-682-2412. Okay? Type it na lang directly so we can mas mabilis imbis na magsulat sila. Oo. Meron naman kayong cellphone, di ba? May load po, may load. Hindi, cellphone na walang load. Please type any question. Or if not, during the time na some people are typing, make a request, who among you want to ask na directly? May mga iba kasi nahiya. You want to ask any questions with regards to our topic that we have discussed today? Type na lang po, type na lang. 0915-6822-412. Top 3 reasons why marriages fail. Number 1, or why marriage fails. Lack of what? Communication. Number 2, lack of. And number 3, lack of what? Anong gagawin nyo pag uwi nyo? You're going to open the book, in every chapter meron siyang especially the money lessons, marami dyan. Especially the intimacy lesson, meron din yung mga tanong, mga personal questions. Please, basahin niya. Please lang huwag kayong magpanggap na nagte-text sa tapos wala pala. May nagte-text ba? May nagtatanong sa inyo? May nagtatanong? Yes or no? Sige, hintayin mo. Dito ka na. Saan yung wireless? Para ano? Kay Pastor, pabasahin mo. Habang nagte-text sa mga ibang tao, do you want to learn more? Yes or no? If you want to learn more, even though I'm not here present in Bacolod, you know what? Ito na nga. I don't want to patronize you guys. If given an opportunity to really move, first city I would really want to tell you I want to transfer to is number 1 is Davao. Second is Bacolod. Because of Kalea. And then mga chicken inasal na yan. At saka yung mga yung sa mga, yung sa, dampa. Dampa ba
Okay,
yun?
dampa, yes.
Pala, oo, yun. Oo. So, yun. So, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's for free. Everybody say everyday. Everyday. I post blogs, I post quotes. Who among you are following me right now? Okay. Stalkers. No, seriously. Di ba everyday ako nagbablog? Everyday. Walang pagod yan. Talagang commitment ko yan. Please follow me on Chinkitan. And then kung may mga pictures, yung kanina nag-photo tayo, hashtag ng Chinkitan para makita ko lang, di ba? Para ma-share ko rin. Tomorrow, ipopost ko sa, sa TV. Manood kayo. 6 to 7 lang po ako sa Action TV, pero sa radyo, I forgot lang what's our station here in Bacolod. 102.3 FM. 102. Yung station ni Tulpo. Alam mo si Tulpo?
Amen.
O sa Action, oo. Yung parating galit. Oo. Oo, Channel 13. Oo. 3TV Channel 13 din. Oo, sige. Tapos, sino sa inyo may Viber? Viber. Please follow me at my Viber account, also public chat. Then search Chinkitan. Please follow me. Videos naman doon, videos. YouTube also, please follow me at YouTube. It's for free. I have 280 videos already. Especially, please watch out. Who among you are employees right now? Employees. Who among you plan to set up your own business one day? I'm going to teach sessions about on how to start an enterprise so that you can get great business ideas, and it's for free also. Basta subscribe to YouTube, doon ko yung pinopost lahat yung mga videos ko. You know what? Kasi I do believe in this. Learning cannot be only a one-time thing, but it must be a daily thing. Because every day you can learn something that is new. Especially when it comes to mentoring about couples and marriage. Mahalaga po yan. Sige, let's answer some questions, please.
Alright, our first question. Planning to start a ministry pioneering, how can we budget?
Ano po?
Planning to start a ministry pioneering, how can we budget?
Ministry pioneering. Tatlong tanong yan. Hindi, ang ibig sabihin siguro, gusto niya mag-pioneer ng ministry, paano daw magbabudget? First things first, before you start a ministry, first question you need to ask yourself and ask God, are you called really to do it? Listen to this. When God gives you a vision, He will give you the provision.
Amen.
If it's God's will, nagigets nyo? Kung talagang will ni Lord yan, you don't have to worry. The provision will come eh. So kung wala pa talagang provision, meron kang desire, pero ibig sabihin, probably yes, but not now. Hindi pa timing. So ang kailangan mong matutunan siguro ngayon, kung paano magbabudget is yung skills of budgeting. Yun lang, tinuro ko na sa inyo una Kailangan matuto ka muna mag-save, ano nga mag-appropriate, allocate. That's the first thing that you need to do. Next question, please.
Next, can we give a donation that is also church-related instead of tithing?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, let me answer that specifically. Who among you practice the principle of tithing? Okay. Okay lang. Kahit na hindi, I still respect that. Wala namang pilitan to. We are a free country. What do you mean by tithing? Tithing is what? Sa wikang Pilipino.
Ikapo.
Tithing. Ikapu. Tama?
Ikapo.
Means 10%. Whatever you have received from the Lord, you return 10% back to Him. So, when you talk about tithing, okay, before we talk about tithing, the first question I would like to ask all of you here is, do you believe that God owns everything? If God owns everything, we own what?
Nothing.
Nothing. If we own nothing, we're borrowing, right? So if I'm going to borrow a cell phone from you, Pastor, if I borrow this cell phone, can I give this away? Sell? Why? It's not mine. But before I can sell and give it away, I have to ask permission from the owner. Yes or no? So, you believe God owns everything?
Amen.
If we own everything, we own what? Before we spend our money, before we spend, do we ask permission from the owner? Sometimes. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty is too much. Nagigets niyo ba? So in other words, if you really profess that God owns everything, we own what? Nothing. We are just what? Borrowing. So if you're a borrower, you have to learn how to ask na naman. If I borrow, I have to learn how to what? Return. Because if I don't return, I'm a thief. Nagigets nyo? So yun yung point. Yung 10%, you don't own it. It's God's ownership. So you, In Malachi chapter 3 verse 10, it says, bring the whole tithe to my storehouse. I mean, what do you mean by whole? Buo. How do you say that in Ilonggo? Bilog. Diba? Bilog. Tama? Bilog ba? The whole, you must return the whole. So in other words, you have no right to give it to any other charitable organization. God is not preventing you to become charitable. He gives us also a provision to be charitable, not from our tithes, but from our offerings.
Amen.
Nagigets niyo? May tithes. 10%, that's His. Where do you give it? Wherever you're being spiritually fed. If you're Catholic, you belong to the Catholic Church, you give to your Catholic Church. If you belong to His life, you give it to His life. Nagigets niyo? But you don't have any right. I want to give this to the needy. I want to give them. Why? I want to be generous. Be generous not with God's portion. Be generous with your portion. Sa offering. Offering is beyond the 10%. Nagigets niyo?
Amen.
Pwede kang tumulong sa charitable organization beyond the 10, not from the tithes. Gets?
Amen.
Good. Next question.
What if sa bahay may reverse personalities ang husband at wife? Ang husband madaldal, ang wife silent, something like that.
Baka nagkaumpugan silang dalawa, nagkapalit. No, ito lang ha. There are times like, there are moments na talagang ganun po. Meron talagang ganun. Kasi depende rin sa family background yan eh. Hello? Maybe yung husband lumaki sa isang environment na sobrang ano talaga, maganon yung nanay. Tapos sinabi sa sarili niya, paglaki ko, ayaw ko maging ganon. So nagigets nyo? So, ano din pwede mangyari? And then not only reversal of the roles, you just got to understand, focus on the strength and minimize on their what? Weakness. Please. Kasi ito yung problema eh. We're so typecast ba? Lalaki dapat kumita ng pera. Si babae dapat marunong maglaba, magluto, mamalansya, mag-alaga ng bata. Pag yan ang hinahanap mo, katulong, helper. Do you know, FYI lang. Sino dapat magkumpuni ng mga sirang bagay sa bahay? Mr. o Mrs.? Bumbilya 2 years, hindi ko papalitan. 2 years na, sira pa rin. Hindi kasi kung gift yun eh, to fix things. My wife loved to fix things, grabe. 7 times kami nagpalit ng bahay, lipat bahay yan, 7 times. Hindi akit bahay yan, lipat bahay. 7 times, siya yung nag-knockdown at nag-assemble ng crib ng anak namin. Siya lang, siya! Ako, kaya mo yan. Kaya mo! My wife, on the other hand, doesn't cook. I love to cook. My wife attempted to cook once, nagpakulo ng tubig, natuyo pa. Ganun siya kagaling. Pero ako, nagigets you, I love to cook. Eh, may ganun talaga eh. Pero please, ito lang ang pakiusap ko. Let us not typecast people.
Amen.
There are times also, the husband becomes the husband and the wife becomes the professional and times change eh. And please lang naman, if that's your setup at home, if you are the husband, please don't feel insecure. Kasi there are times that the wife makes more than the husband and the wife start to make some suggestion. Hindi ba mas maganda kung ganitong gawin natin? Tapos sabi ng mister, bakit? Porket mas malaki ng kita mo, ikaw na magde-decide dito? Masyado kang insecure. Dapat magpasalamat ka nga kung asawa mo kumikita at mas malaki pa sa iyo. Bakit? Una, may asawa ka na. Pangalawa, may sugar mommy ka pa. Bakit ang problema mo? Ako, pinagpinalalaki ko, ganun lang ang setup eh. Diba? Nagigets nyo, ano problema mo? Magkaaway ba kayo? Pinakasalan mo ba yung asawa mo para magtunggali kayo so that you can compete? There's a problem. Agree? Yes or no?
Amen.
May question pa ba?
Do you
Grabe
invest-
yan,
Do you invest in stock market? If yes, what book can you suggest as a beginner?
Husband and wife lang to ah. given an opportunity, honestly, you know what? If given an opportunity to come back, who among you wants me to come back? You want me to come back? O sige, yung parang napipilitan kayo. Sige, please lang, parang awa nyo na. Ito, if given an opportunity, you know what session I want to bring here? How to retire before the age of 50. I want to teach really people how to retire before the age of 50. When you say retirement before the age of 50, some people say, lagpas na ako. Okay lang, pwede pang i-renew natin. No, it's just a concept, it's an idea. Okay, let's talk about retirement. Let's talk about retirement for investment. May time pa naman tayo, di ba? What's the concept of retirement? By the time you reach the age of 60, you stop working. Kasi forced retirement na yan. Tama o mali? Question. Who placed the number 60 as a form of what? Who dictated the number 60? No phone in question, please. No phone in, ha? Text lang. Who instituted the 60-year-old? Sino naglagay nun?
Government.
Government. Question. Should you and I allow the government to dictate what age should we retire?
No.
Exactly. If you want to retire at the age of 40, if you want to retire at the age of 50, you can do so if you want to. Pero masyado tayo nakaprogram sa 60. Kaya nga I want to teach people, bago pa mag-50, pwede ka nang mag-retire. Alam mo yung concept sa akin ng retirement is this. Hindi yung pagkatapos, hintay mo yung SSS pension, CSIS. Kawawa ka. Wala ka sa US, wala ka sa Canada, wala ka sa Australia. Doon talaga maganda yung retirement program, not here. So in other words, the concept of retirement is this. Listen, even if you stop working, income will never stop. I will repeat. Even if you stop working, your income will never stop. How much? Depending on the lifestyle you want to live. If I want to live with a 50,000 pesos lifestyle with everything, I should set up a fund, a fund that can generate me 50,000 pesos per month for the rest of my life. That is retirement. That's the time you think about what? Investment. Ang problema kasi ganito, where should I invest? Sige, gusto ko magpalaro ng pera. Pag may ano gagawin? Basta, gusto na mami. Nagigigits nyo, bagamba sa karawahe at kabayo, nauuna yung karawahe sa kabayo. Alamin mo muna yung lifestyle na gusto mo before you make a plan what type of investment that you want. So talking about stock market. Okay. Stock market is this. It's buying a portion of the company. You become a stockholder of the company. Like if you buy Jollibee, you buy one share, you become, di ba there's so many millions of shares there, kasi the company, what do you call this, declares themselves publicly, they do IPOs. Why? Because they're going to raise more money to build more businesses. So parang nagiging partner ka, but you buy shares. The more shares you have, the bigger chunk that you own from the company. Nagigets nyo ba? Yun po yung stocks. Like for example, okay, pag bumili ka ng one share, punta ka ng Jollibee, masungit yung gwardiya, di ba? Hindi mo ba alam na part owner ako dito, may one share ako dito? Biglang sumagot ng gwardiya, ako may 2 shares ako eh. Ako ang boss mo. Guys, if you want to invest in stocks, invest money that you can afford to lose. Yun ang nasabi ko sa'yo. Never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. And then number 2, you talk about investment, not trade. Iba yung trading sa investing. Trading, buy low, sell high, anytime. If you reach a desired 5%, 10%, go, beta na yan. Trading yun. Ang investing is you invest for the long term. When you talk about long term, 10 years, 15, 20, or 30 years. That's the time that you would realize na may pera talaga sa stocks. Okay? So yun po. Where do you buy? From brokers. And pwede rin kayo makipag-usap sa bangko. Sa banks because they offer online trading already. Kasi banks should learn how to compete. If you put your money in the bank, maliit lang po yung interest. So they themselves are offering other financial instrument that you can invest on. May next question pa ba?
How do you handle if your wife is expecting you to do something yet she does not tell you? She only think about it, but he expects that you read her mind.
Yes. Ang kailangan mo dyan is manghuhula. Or a prophet. Pag-prophesy tayo, ano yung feeling mo? The problem is this, number one, lack of and connection. That's the concern. You know what? Solving the fruit of the problem will not solve the problem. You have to solve the root cause of the problem. And the root cause of the problem is the lack of communication. So if you're having a hard time communication every time, kasi when you communicate, it ends up with a fight. So the next thing that you need to do, you have to bring a referee. Number one, no hitting below the belt. Then, bring someone, nagigets nyo, yung someone both of you respect and honor, and then stretch out the difference.
Amen.
Why? Even with our marriage, alam mo, we come to a point that we are already disagreeing na talagang wala na. Ayun eh. According to the Bible, parang kayo mga abogado, di ba? Wala na. O sige, hindi na natin kaya i-settle to. Tumawag na tayo ng mentors natin to help us settle this, kung paano natin nagigets nyo ba? You need wisdom from other people. So I would suggest you go to that second step already. Okay, next.
Husband is working abroad, an OFW. Do the family need to follow him abroad? Do they need to be together?
Amen.
It is the will of God for man and women to be put together and then be as one. Unfortunately, because of, again, nakakalungkot man sabihin, ito lang, let's go back to the real intention bakit tayo nagsama bilang isang pamilya. Nagpakasal kayo sa bawat isa para magkasama. Tama? But the means to get the end, yung means, yung pagtatrabaho, kasi kulang nga kita rito. So ang means mo, may mga iba, lumalabas ng ibang bansa para kumita, para sa pamilya. But the means is the one that's bringing and drawing each other away from the family. I'm not saying, I hope you understand that. Even say going abroad is not good. No, I'm not saying that. Probably for the meantime, you can be set apart because you need to sacrifice. But ultimately, the plan of the Lord is for your family to be one together. If needed that you need to be uprooted here from the Philippines and go and follow your family just for you to be together, you just got to do it. Or if not naman, the other way around. If you can sacrifice naman and live according to your means and within to your means, just for your family to be together and be back here in the Philippines, you ask the person to come back to the Philippines. Pero ultimately, ang goal na magkasama kayo. You know the social cost. Believe me, you know this, the social cost of families being apart. Temptation, children growing up with only one parent, it is as if they have only a single parent. Yes, praise God for technology. High tech is very good. You can use Viber, you can use, what do you call this? Skype to talk with it. High tech is good, but they still need high touch. Kailangan pa rin may hug, pray. Hindi yung maano yun. Hindi. Diba? Meron pa ba? Mga ilan pa yan? Hindi ako ilan.
How to encourage my husband for us to discuss more about spiritual growth with God?
Okay, first things first. You cannot really force something to someone if they're not yet prepared.
Amen.
Your intention is good, but if it's not yet the right time, it won't happen. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but in the end, it's not your plan that prevails, it's God's plan that prevails. Maybe God's work is not yet finished in that person. Diba, may napapansin ba kayo? May mga tao parang sinasabi nila malas sila, malas. Maraming nangyayari hindi magaganda. Tama mali. Walang malas at walang swerte kay Lord. May ginagawa si Lord sa buhay niya. Yan yung parang inuuntog na ni Lord para magising siya. Gumising ka, gumising ka. Eh kung ayaw niya magising, kailangan pa niya magtiis. And the worst thing that you can do is you interfere and you intercede. And when you look at the scriptures, how many times did Abraham interceded to God so that they would not judge Sodom and what? Gomorrah. Nagigets niyo ba? And God listened because he was a man of God. But he just prevented the unavoidable to happen. He did not prevent the unavoidable to happen. Still, Sodom and Gomorrah was judged. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, if God is still doing something to your spouse, ang kailangan mo lang gawin is to what? Pray. You cannot manipulate your spouse to really receive Christ or let's say, to change. Kung talagang gusto mo talaga magbago, you treat them with kindness. Pag timplahan mo ng kape na may konting cyanide, konting nahilo ko, hindi, ganun lang talaga. Huwag yung kasi hindi ko manigas. Meron pa? Sige.
Last two questions.
Sige po.
Paano kung ang husband have a third party because of his reason, ego, and pride? How to fix it dahil ayaw niyang balikan ang marriage niya?
Okay, number one, kailangan ma-realize ng tao na mali ang ginagawa niya. Pag hindi niya na-realize na mali yan, wala kang magagawa uli. Nagigets niyo? Minsan na-justify yan kasi hindi mo na ako mahal, kasi ginag-neglect mo ako, that's the reason I have a third party. Or if not naman, kahit alam niya pala, hindi na-justify niya. May kakilala kayo ganun. Sila naman, binabaliktad pa niya. Hindi naman ako magiging ganito hindi dahil sa iyo. Hindi naman ako masungit dati. Hindi naman mainitin ang ulo nung dahil sa'yo naging mainitin ang ulo ko. Naks naman, wow! Binabaliktad pa yung sitwasyon. So you know what you need to do? If you have encountered this type of people, again, you pray. Lord, di ba mahal mo siya? Take him away. Hindi ganun. Seriously, no. It's only God who can change the hearts of men and women. Agree? Yes or no? But even though as you pray, you must also do your part. Who among you watched the movie called War Room? Who among you have not watched? Please buy the pirated copy. When you watch, no, seriously, you watch that movie. War Room, war, guerra, room, kwarto. Guerra na kwarto. No, it's about the story of it's both of them, they don't believe in God. Talagang their life was a mess. And the woman encountered God. Oo, and then, kayo na bahala. Pero namatay siya sa ending. Hindi ba? No, yun nga. You pray to God. Pray as if that God is only the answer, but work and obey as if you are the only answer. Pray as if that God is only the answer, but work and obey as if you are the only answer. Kasi hindi lang pwede si Lord ang bahala, pero may part na rin tayo. Alam mo, ito lang, if you're going through tough times and challenges with your married life right now, the problem is not your partner, honestly. Sometimes the problem is us. The problem is not the problem. Sometimes the problem is the attitude towards the problem. Why? Kasi na-prejudge na natin yung partner natin eh. Ganun talaga yan. I-discuss pa tayo eh. Nanalo ka na. Sige, ikaw na. Tama na. Ano tayo pag-usapan? Ha? Ano gusto mo? Oo, sige, ikaw na. Yes. Wala mo ba? Hindi, okay na yan. Eh kasi na-prejudge, nagigets nyo. So ang problema, hindi na siya. Without us knowing na we're placed in that situation to reveal that the problem is not your spouse, the problem is us, your attitude. Nagigets nyo ba? Promise. Yes.
May mga dumating pang message. How can I convince and persuade my husband that we need to have a vacation? We are getting older now, we can't afford to have that when we are old.
Ilan taon sila? Mga 80? Hello? I'm Chinese. No, ito lang. I'm Filipino-Chinese. I speak Mandarin and speak Hokkien. We as Chinese. Ang alam lang namin, bukas tindahan sa ating dahan. Vamos kain na. Sino man tayo tindahan? Wala, uwi. Wala bakasyon. For us, hindi na free. Nagigets yun. Sa amin, bonding lang, family, masaya na. But, let me tell you this. My world really changed. What's more important is not the money. What's not important is the security. What's more important for kids is called memories.
Amen.
Memories. Memories in the sense na hindi mo maano yan eh, parang, kaya nga, you just recall, what is the best gift that you and I have ever received in our entire life? Yung binigay sa atin ng magulang natin na hindi natin makalimutan, na regalo, physical. Let me tell you this, hardly will you remember. But if you ask me, what is one memory that you and your family enjoyed talaga doing together? I can never forget when we went to Bicol, sa Mayon Volcano, tapos nagpunta kami, nag-picnic kami, tapos meron kami, parang tela, yung cloth na pula, na may checkered na, bakit kaya pare-pareho kulay nila, no? Ganun consistent. At kami, picnic kami doon, habang sumasabog yung mayon, yung parang gano'n. Pero, that was the memory that I can never forget up to this very day. That's the reason why, let me tell you this, even though it's against my nature to rest, talagang I'm a workaholic, it's my nature, but yun nga, ever since I cannot be selfish. It's sa akin, kahit walang bakasyon, okay, pero sa anak ko, hindi po pwede yan. Sa misis ko, hindi po pwede yan. Nagigets niyo?
Amen.
Guys, ito lang I work really, really hard. But there are some things that I cannot negotiate. What are the things I cannot negotiate? Date. I repeat, date. Monday is my date with my wife. For 17 years, I never broke it. 17 years. Basta, I can work from Tuesday up to Saturday, kung meron pa akong preaching on a Sunday, kung ma-invite ako, okay lang yan, mag-usap kami, pero Monday, non-negotiable. She always looks after that. Nagigets siya ba? Birthdays, anniversaries, lahat ng naka-plot na yan, whole year. Diba? Pre-book na kahit na may talk, hindi po pwede yan, non-negotiable yan. Nagigets siya ba? Kasi we got to put family as priority. Again, why are we working for that? And mismo yung work is the one that's pulling us away from the goal itself. So, again, there's time for everything. Yan pa bang tanong?
What to do sa mga in-laws at family ng husband mo
Ay,
na nangingialam sa buhay na niyong mag-asawa at parang di ka nire-respeto?
Magandang question yan. May kasabihan, ang ama ang haligi na, ang ina ang, at ang mga biyanan ang anay ng tahanan. Kasabihan natin. But I really thank God and praise God, I don't have in-laws na gano'n, and likewise my wife, hindi naman you just need to understand, we came from two family backgrounds, one from Filipino background and one from Chinese, or pure Chinese. So, talagang two worlds apart yan. Meron silang tradisyon, meron kami tradisyon. Meron silang gustong isuggest. Like for example, yung mga maliliit na bagay. Kami nakahiwalay kami. Mami, pag-usapan natin kung nakatira pa yun sa loob. Nakahiwalay kami. Ito yung mga pinag-usapan. O last year, nasa kabila kayo, this year sa amin. But you know what? Praise be to God. Right from day one when we got married, we don't have this type of issues. Ask me why. Ask me why. Right from the start, because we as a couple, we agree. We agree. We're going to honor our parents, but it doesn't necessarily say we have to obey them.
Amen.
Because we're starting our own family. Diba? Kailangan maunawa nila. We will visit them, we will but once you and I, we decide, we must decide as a couple. That's the reason why they will say, like for example, Father's Day tomorrow. Tama? Buti na lang, wala na kaming issue. Kasi wala na si Papa niya, kaya wala na surprise na. Diba? Traffic ka naman. Alam mo na siya, Lord, ano wala hindi. Ang point lang, pag nagyayaya, ang sagot namin, SOP answer namin. Sige, pag-uusapan namin. I will talk to my husband, I will talk to my wife. Never did we will say immediately, sige, tapos sasabihin, nako, hindi, basta we will we will agree as a couple. And then, whenever there are family issues, like for example, sa side niya, she makes sure that she doesn't bring me into the picture. Nagigets mo? Kasi minsan na pati ka nalang kausap kay Chinky, ganito, ganyan. Papayag naman yan eh. Siyempre, pinipresume nila. Sagot niya parati, kausapin ko muna siya, hindi ko sabihin yes, hindi ko sabihin no. Mag-usap na namin once we agree, tapos sabihin namin sa'yo. She always makes sure that she will protect me from the side, and vice versa. I will protect her kasi partner kami, team kami. The last thing that you should do, please, 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 allow the outside people meddle in your affairs and be the source of conflict within, because 90% of the conflict that starts from the family doesn't start from within, it often starts from outside. Kapatid, diba? Kamag-anak, magulang. How much more if you live with them? That is a challenging situation. It's a difficult situation. That's the reason why, if you look at the scriptures, it is not the will of God for you to stay once you get married. If you look closely at scripture, the father, you would leave your father and your mother, and you become united as one.
And you will cleave
So the original plan of God is for you to be separated from the original family to start your own family. Because it's so hard to have two kings or two queens inside the house. Especially if your wife is a homemaker, she stays at home, diba? And then they will see how she works. And probably it's not an issue of right and wrong, it's an issue of style. But kung sinabihan ko na kung maglalagay siya ng suka sa adobo, at least 2 cups, hindi 1 cup lang. Come on, patiyan pa. Di ba minsan, yung asawa mo, panay na labas sa panay computer, yung mga anak hindi binabatayan. Di ba ikaw, narinig mo, pinababayaan mo. Tapos bigla na lang, makikita mo yung anak mo may sugat. May nagsugat ang anak. Eh, panay computer ka kasi! Nagigets nyo. So in other words, I would suggest talaga, if you still stay with your parents, you pray. I understand sometimes it's a financial situation na talagang kailangan. Okay lang to start na talagang mahirap kayo, ganun. Pero you should pray that God will provide so that you can what? Move out. Mahirap po talaga.
Do I need to submit to my husband all the time?
Ilang days pa to?
Amen.
Do you need to submit to your husband all the time? The answer is yes, and no. Yes, in a sense, because that is what God says. No, if He's telling you to do something that is wrong.
Amen.
Alam naman natin ang tama at mali. Pero kung issue lang naman, kulay, gusto ko pula, hindi gusto kong black. Hindi, cool. Kung sinabi ng husband mo, black ka na lang. Di ba? Pagbigyan mo na. Ay, ano panunurin natin? Action or love story? Gusto ko love story. Gusto ko action. Pagbigyan mo na. Ay, nagigets mo, pati yan pa pag-aawayan nyo. Di ba, minsan nagde-date kayo para mag-enjoy, mag-relax, tapos mag-aaway kayo. Lalo pag tinanong mo, di ba? Sige, kain na tayo. Anong orderin mo? Sige, ikaw na bahala. Nung umorder ka na, ba't ito orderin mo? Kakapaliw talaga. Meron ba?
Last question na lang.
Promise, ha?
Last na.
May airplane pa ako.
You said that sex should be enjoyed in the context of marriage. What advice can you give to a couple who fell into premarital sex? Should we continue our relationship? How can they be restored?
That's a good question. First, if you you know you're convicted already by God, the Holy Spirit, first you got to repent. When you say repent, you stop. And if I say you stop, you stop. Or else I will kill you. Sumagot natin ulit natin. Stop! Then, yun nga, if you know that you are doing something that is wrong, and you're convicted already by the Holy Spirit, and you feel guilt and shame, just like Adam and Eve, first thing, you got to repent. When you say repent, you stop what you're doing. And God says, if any one of us confess our sins, He is faithful and just to purify us from all unrighteousness. No matter what sin, alam mo, in the eyes of God, pare-pareho lang tayo. Magnakaw ka ng piso, magnakaw sa million sa mata ng Diyos, pareho lang.
Amen.
Diba? You committed premarital sex, or if you look at a woman lustfully, sa mata ng Diyos, mas sa mata ng tao, mas mabigat na sa ating payment, but in the eyes of God, it's the same. So, in other words, all of us, we live by grace. I am a sinner. I still sin every day. But the good thing is God's grace is sufficient. So first, you repent. After you repent, okay, should we continue the relationship? Yes, you can, provided there are parameters. Parameters, number one, you cannot be together alone if you know that you have weaknesses, specifically in terms of having premarital sex. You cannot ride in a car alone, the two of you. You cannot go to the places that brings you to the place of what? Sin. You must be wise enough to avoid those things already. That's the reason why it says, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If your eyes cause you to sin, pluck it out. It's better for you to go into heaven with one eye and with one hand rather than with your whole body being thrown to judgment or the lake of fire. In other words, stop. Number two, repent. Number three, you can continue as again, like for example, I have friends who who didn't know God, and then they were living in sin, living together, and then they knew God, and they had a conviction. They're right now still in a relationship, but they live in two separate houses already. Hindi na sila nakaligpit. Nakikita mo. God can turn something that is bad, He can turn it into good.
Amen.
God can use a crooked ruler to use it to draw a straight line. That is the beauty about having a relationship with God. That's the reason why, last part na lang, I cannot miss this. As I mentioned a moment ago, na sinabi ko, na hindi nyo tinanong sa akin, buti na naalala ko, that you should love God more than your spouse. Remember that? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's the secret to really a happy marriage, not having a happy wife. Why do I say that? I can still remember when I got married in 1999, I was a man, and I can assure you I'm still a man today. Lakas mo tumawa. Parang nakaka-relate ka. Nagdududa ko na rin ba? No, what I mean to say is my attraction towards other women never diminished. Okay. I still get attracted. I get to travel like that. Come on. In 1 year. Next week, I'll be at Iloilo. And after Iloilo, babalik pa lang ako on the 3rd year. Pero fly-in, fly-out. I always fly. Kaya nga fly-in, fly-out lang ako. I never stay overnight. Why? Kasi when I arrive, sometimes you will see a woman that is more attractive than your wife. Siyempre, lalaki ka. May nakita kong magandang babae. Diba? Waka. It's okay for you to appreciate God's creation and beauty. And after na makita mo, pagkatapos niya, turn around. Turn around. Okay, huwag kang lilingon. Huwag kang lilingon. Huwag kang lilingon. No, it's not the first look that caused you to sin, it's a second look. Hello? That's the reason why I really thank God. I know that my wife cannot be with me 24 hours a day, but I know God, the Holy Spirit, in the presence of God is with me 24 hours a day. I love God more than my wife. So if I turn around and start entertaining some thoughts, the first person I will hurt is not my wife. The first person I will hurt is God. How dare am I to come to church, to worship God, to say that I love Him, and every Sunday I raise my hands. I love you, Lord, Almighty God. Tapos, sinasaktan ko siya. At napaka-plastic ko naman, nagigets niyo ba? In the process, I love God more than my wife. So, the reason why it prevents me from sinning, not because that I am good, not because that I want to be good, not because that I can control myself, because I don't want to hurt God's feelings. Now I go home. Since I love God more than my wife, I go home and be proud. Magpasalamat ka na mahal ko si Lord kaysa sa iyo! Kung mahal kita, hindi ko mahal si Lord, patay na tayo. Matagal na. Nagigets nyo. That's the reason why I want to encourage all of you as couple. Do not build your marriage towards one another. Do not build your marriage towards your children. You got to build your marriage towards the foundation of God. If both are willing to submit to the will of God, your marriage will be okay. Because it is God who gives us the ability to produce well. It is God who blesses our marriage. It is God's promise that He will make us the head and He will not make us the tail. He will make us the lender, not the borrower. He will put us at the top, never beneath. Before we close, no more questions, please. With your permission, is it okay for us just to bow our heads for a moment? You can just take your seats. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for the opportunity you have granted this afternoon to all the couples who are here. It is not an accident that everyone is in this session right now for this Happy Wife, Happy Life session. Some of them are probably in the recovery stage. Some of them are in the renovation stage. Some of them are already on the repair stage. No matter what stage they are into in their journey as a couple, I pray, Lord, that nothing is impossible for you. I pray, Lord, for couples right now who are inside this room. If you are having some stress with your relationship, whether it's emotional stress, mental stress, financial stress, physical stress, I want to tell you that God wants to fix your marriage. But the only time that He can fix your marriage, if you allow Him to fix your marriage. He cannot fix something if you're not willing to surrender it to Him. So if you're with heads bowed and eyes closed, no one looking around, please, no one looking around. If you know that you need God's intervention in your relationship right now, I want to pray for you. Can you please raise up your hands? Yes, God bless you. 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 You can put down your hand. You can put down your hand. Anyone? Anyone else? Yes. Let us pray. Let's pray. Father, I pray the grace that you have given me and my wife, I pray the same grace that you will give them. I pray as husband and wife, Lord, that they would build their foundation of love, true love, that is patient, that is kind, that is gentle, that is not self-seeking, that is self-control, that seek the good of others, not to seek the good of itself, that always trusts, that always hopes, that always forgives. I pray that they would base their love not on what they feel, what they think, what is right for them, but they would seek you and ask you, Lord, what's right for this relationship? How can I please you in my relationship with you? How can I please my spouse? Father, I pray that you would remove all of the things, Lord, that's hindering them, that's trying to distract them from the relationship. Lord, I also pray right now for the people who are hurting right now. If there are broken trust in your relationship, trust has been broken. This is the good news. Your spouse cannot mend that, but God can mend your heart. If you know that the trust has been broken and you're right now in pain, you're right now recovering, you're having a hard time to trust again, let me pray for you that God will give you grace to be able to see through the eyes of Jesus. Not to see from the eyes of judgment, but to see from the eyes of Jesus. Jesus, no matter how sinful we are, He still sees us and gives us unconditional love. And if you're right now in pain and you're hurting right now, I want you to raise up your hand. I want to pray for you. Okay, God bless you. You can put down your hands. You can put down your hands. I saw that. Yes, I see that. I see that. I see that. Yes. I see that. Yes, I see that. Okay, I see that at the back. Yes, I see that. Father, in the name of Jesus, you saw the people who just raised their hands. I pray in the name of Jesus right now that you would mend their hearts. Whatever trust that was broken, I pray, Lord Father, that you would mend their hearts. And I also pray for the spouse who broke the trust. I pray that you would grant them, Lord, you would give them the grace to make an effort, to show that they're sincere, they're honest, and they want really to really recover the broken trust. Father, I pray that they would be able to start anew. You have said in your words, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, you will give us a fresh start, for your grace is new every morning. So Father, I pray today for all the people who are represented here, let not allow the enemy to steal the destiny of their family and their marriage. Your destiny for them is for them to be blessed, for them to be prospered, to be united, to be happy, and to be joyful in their marriage. And I pray, Lord, that they will work towards that direction and never allow the sin of pride, sin of guilt, sin of anger, sin of bitterness to take root in their hearts. But I pray for the spirit of love, joy, peace, kindness, forgiveness to rule and reign in their hearts. Bless them, O Father, as they seek you, as they put you as their center of their relationship in their life. Just like you have said, seek ye first your kingdom and your righteousness, and everything shall be added unto them. That is what we declare in the mighty name of Jesus. Everybody say a mighty
Amen.
And amen. God bless you and Happy New Year. Can I make a request? Can we have a group photo of please? Group shot lang. Take a photo lang please. Gusto kong, mga sir, madam, jump shot po, jump shot. Alam niyo po, yung sabay-sabay tayong tatanong. Hindi, joke lang. Baka mali. Hindi,